Joint practice day. What does that mean? Big Sills, we appreciate you guys coming aboard as we are rolling towards a NFL football season that is going to be, in my opinion, off the charts. I think college football, I said this before to you and I'll say it again to you. I think the college football season is going to be exceptional. Two best sports in all of America right now are NFL and college football. Make no mistake about that. And it is going to be a wild season this year. There's been so much noise and already some drama when we're talking about, we're looking at a scenario here where we're seeing, make no mistake about it, we're seeing again an opportunity for people here to really look at the National Football League and go like this. Hey, man, who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? We appreciate everybody coming aboard. All good. Do me a favor, guys. Please hit that like button. We have so much to get to. By the way, incredible what's going on right now. We have a power-packed show, to say the least. Okay? A power-packed show. At 3:30, we have the great Jim Kelly. We'll ask him about Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. They play the Bills this year, do the Eagles, late in the season. And we will talk to one of the greatest players, first ballot Hall of Famer, Jim Kelly. That will be at 3:30. We will talk to our friend Howard Eskin. That will be at 4:30. We will also, at 5:30, talk to the Inquirer's very own Marcus Hayes. Got a packed show for you. Get in where you fit in. We appreciate you guys, again, more than you know. Hit that like button. Super chats like this, go right to the top. I need a watch that tells Big Sills time. LFG. How you doing? You're never late, Damon, when you're on Big Sills time. Always remember this. Now, to start the program off, right out of the gate, this is phenomenal. Look at this already, man. The hits just keep coming. The hits just keep coming here, my friends. And this kind of gives you an indictment already on how the pundits see your Eagle team starting in the 2025 season. This is incredible. So Fox Sports and NFL on Sundays on Fox came out with the top 5 wide receivers in pro football. And here they are. It's great. And do you agree? Tier 1. I like that tier. Tier 1. The number 1 wide receiver in all of pro football, according to Fox Sports, and not Big Sills. Not Big Sills. Is Jamar Chase. This is not my list. This is the greatness of the NFL on Fox. How's that? Man. The NFL on Fox. Number 2. Justin Jefferson from the Minnesota Vikings. Number 3, CeeDee Lamb. The top 5 top-tier wide receivers in all of pro football, according to Fox Sports. Man, this is crazy. Here's another one. Number 4. In the NFC East, the best receiver in the NFC East, according to Fox NFL, Malik Neighbors, New York Football Giants. And number 5, Amon-Ra St. Brown from the Detroit Lions. So your top tier wide receivers in pro football: Chase, Cincinnati Bengals; Jefferson, Vikings, number 2; Lamb, number 3. Well, wait a minute. The best receiver in the NFC East, it's a battle between CeeDee Lamb and Malik Neighbors. And Fox says it's now, it's actually CeeDee Lamb that's the number one receiver in the NFC East. Number one and number two receivers in the NFC East, CeeDee Lamb and Malik Neighbors. So again, your top five: Chase from the Bengals, Jefferson Vikings, Lamb Cowboys, Neighbors Giants, St. Brown Lions. Where's AJ? Where's AJ? How in the world could you put a guy as one of the top receivers in the NFL when you've got the fourth worst passing game? How in the world could you put a guy from that passing offense in the top five when you got the fourth worst passing game? What is it, fourth? Let me see. Excuse me. Yeah, fourth worst passing game. I mean, are they wrong? And get this. You know this bugs A.J. Brown so bad. Holy cow. You know this just bugs A.J. Brown so bad. He'll be reading. I'll tell you this. By the end of the year, let me say this to you, man. By the end of the year, I would say that A.J. Brown will probably read about, 15 books. No, 17 books. He'll have 17 books completed by the time the end of the season comes because he'll be so bored with that passing offense. Damn. Fox even says what Imwa has said. This is crazy. Look at that. Right out of the gate, the disrespect. Hurts gets disrespected. Now A.J. Brown gets disrespected. Pretty crazy, man, how people see your guys. Hey, Texas boy, congratulations. CeeDee Lamb is ranked ahead of A.J. Brown, according to Fox Sports. Woo! Man, you know A.J. Brown. If that guy does not win a Super Bowl this year, holy crap, is the shit gonna fly? Man, there is going to be an eruption that is going to resemble Mount St. Helens. How many people in here believe that AJ will erupt this year if that football team struggles in the passing game again? How many people believe that? Shit. Absolutely. Hey, what do you mean so much for McLaurin? Nobody ever ranked him in the top 5. They ranked him in the top 10. Ha, ha, ha. Ha, ha, ha. Ha, ha, ha. Holy cow. Look at that. Look at this right here. Fox Sports posted this. So we kind of posted it. And Fox Sports, heading into the 2025 season, here are your top 5 wideouts: Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Malik Neighbors, and Amos Brown. Man, you know AJ's pissed off right now. Whoa, is he pissed? Man, well, I don't think you're wrong when you have the 4th worst passing offense. I mean, they're not wrong. 4th worst passing offense in pro football. By the way, that's a fact. That's a fact. Sills, when Kelly comes on, can you ask him how Howard and him built up the Miami program? Absolutely. I will definitely do that. Let's see Texas boy. His boy CeeDee's in that top 5. I wouldn't be mad if they put AJ over CeeDee. They are both good only if someone else was ahead of CeeDee after A.J. Brown. So you think A.J. Brown, Texas, you think A.J. Brown's better than CeeDee? I happen to too, by the way. Here's, out of this group here, if I had to list these guys, here's how I would rank them. By the way, I'll give you my top 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. My top 5 wide receivers in pro football would be this. This would be my list, okay? Okay. Hold on. Work with me here. I would go CD. I would go St. Brown. I would go Jefferson. And I would go AJ. Let me do that again. 1, AJ. Here, 1, AJ. 2, Jefferson. 3, Chase. 4, I would go Nico Collins. And 5, I'd go Lamb. My top 5 wide receivers would not be this group. It would be A.J. Brown. It would be Justin Jefferson. It would be Jamar Chase. It would be Nico Collins. And it would be CeeDee Lamb. Look, dude, I'm not going to tell you that I agree with that list because I don't. Here's why. And you know, I was having this conversation with Xander prior to going on. I think it depends who the quarterback is. If you've got Joe Burrow or you got Patrick Mahomes, you want Jamar Chase. If you got a quarterback like Josh Allen or you got a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, you want a guy who can play in the run game too. So I would take A.J. Brown. I think it all has to do with who's the quarterback. If you got a guy that throws it around, like here, I don't want A.J. Brown with Matthew Stafford. I want Jamar Chase with Matthew Stafford. I want guys like that are high volume catch guys. I mean, but if I have a game where I'm in the running attack, by the way, why do you guys believe that A.J. Brown was just disrespected by Fox? Why do you think? As long as Saquon Barkley is on that football team, both Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown will not get the kudos. He's not the best player in that huddle a year ago. Both of those guys were not the best players. I feel like I got to put Mike Evans as top 5. Here's why. And by the way, I appreciate the super. Thank you. Here's why I don't put Mike Evans in there now. Mike Evans is talking about retiring at the end of this year. Okay, so I think he's on the back 9 of his career. I think he wants to play one more season. Mike Evans is a hell of a football player. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Okay? We can't win without AJ, though. Yeah, well, you had AJ in 22. You didn't win. You put Barkley on the football team, and you won. Barkley's the linchpin to that entire success. And like I said, Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown are never going to get the respect that they deserve as long as Saquon Barkley's on that football team. It's not a diss. It's the fact that you got 3 great players, and you're sharing the wealth. Look, Justin Jefferson's a great player, but J.J. McCarthy is who? Justin Jefferson's the best player on that team. A.J. Brown's not. Okay? I mean, remember, you're sharing it. It's like splitting up. What? Get this. Saquon Barkley probably should have won the MVP a year ago. I think he should have. But because he had Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown, you're gonna be splitting the MVP votes. Now, here's a good take right here. Seals, I hope AJ's pissed off. The chip on his shoulder will help him down the road. And downfield blocking, absolutely blowing dudes up. All AJ needs to do is deliver when called upon. AJ and Hurts do what's need to win. Dude, I'm not debating that. I just told you he's my best wide receiver in the league. I like that style of play. I like guys who are all-around football players, not just catch machines. Like, I've never been a Tyreek Hill guy. I've never been one of those dudes. A lot of people like the guys like Tyreek Hill. Not me. I like people who are involved in the run game. Sills, there's no way that St. Brown and Neighbors are better than McLaurin. Sills, okay, I get it. Even you don't think that. St. Brown and Neighbors better than McLaurin? Absolutely not. Sam Howell. And who did they have again? I mean, all those years throwing the football, that guy was the best. And by the way, he goes against the number one corners. Puka Nacua, in my opinion, is better than Neighbors. Okay, Neighbors is a good player, though. I mean, look at all the yards he put up a year ago. But again, they're empty calorie stats because the Giants went nowhere. Okay? Michael, what do you think, William? Michael Irvin, some of the reasons that he never really put up exceptional numbers like Terrell Owens. Terrell Owens was a good football player in the run game. Michael Irvin was exceptional. Blocking downfield for Emmett? Absolutely. Okay? In my opinion, I think the best receiver over the last 5-6 years, or ever since he's been in the league, has been Justin Jefferson. Jefferson is the most dominant wide receiver. If Justin Jefferson played with a guy like Matthew Stafford or a guy like Patrick Mahomes, he'd have 2,500 yards every year. He's just that good. He's a spectacular football player. Now, I like AJ's style more. Okay? I do. I like AJ's style again. Just a little bit more because he's involved in the run game. And I do agree. Look, Saquon Barkley's not getting 2,000 rushing yards unless A.J. Brown's on the football team. He's not. He's not getting the amount of yards like that. He's just not. Don't forget, Jim Kelly, first ballot Pro Football Hall of Famer, will be with us at 3:30. We got a special announcement to make, too, at the top of the 3 o'clock hour. You'll hear that as well. Also at 4:30, we'll have Howard Eskin, the legendary WIP man, and we'll have from the Inquirer, our friend Marcus Hayes on talking some Eagle football in you. Hit that like button. We appreciate it. Super chats go to the top. All right. By the way, I'm going to do something, and I started liking this. I think you get two different perspectives. Zader's going to be on after the program with Birds 365 in a special edition. John McMullen's there in Cleveland. If I'm not mistaken, are they in Cleveland or at the NovaCare Center? I think I believe they're at NovaCare, right? They're at NovaCare. And they're going to do a show right after the program here. And you're going to get a little bit of an update. But I saw some of the guys that were out there, and I'm going to just take for what I saw being out there for the joint practice. And some of the people that kind of were texting me that were out there watching the joint practice, there was a couple of people that were out there, and they texted me and they told me some stuff that was going on. NovaCare Center, I thought I got my teams mixed up because the Bucks are in Pittsburgh and the Eagles are here in Philadelphia. So, guys, do me a favor, hit that like button. So we're going to take a look at what, I goof on the kid, but I'm going to go by what ESP from WIP said. And I'm going to see what he saw today, just with his words. But I want to start the show off again with this. Now, again, Fox probably trying to get clicks out of the Eagle fan base. That's kind of what that is. But I don't think that list is off base. If you're a fantasy football guy, you love that list. If you're a football purist, you ignore that list. Does that make sense? And here we go. This is going to go right into the topic. Sills, I heard the chat room sweetheart, Jacorian Bennett got his lunch money took. What an idiot. I told those hey, dude. Brian, Pump, I appreciate it. And we're going to start there, Pump. Eagles have not and won't replace Slay. You ain't got the dude in the building. I heard that guy got cooked all morning. I heard that guy got destroyed, Bennett. I heard that everybody, Keely Ringo, everyone, Dory Jackson, nobody looked good. And do the Browns have quarterbacks? I mean, no. You're getting cooked by guys who suck. Dylan Gabriel is cooking your corner. You don't have a corner on the team. You do not. And by the way, it is becoming more evident that that position has not been replaced. You do not have a corner. All the things you were telling me in the offseason about having that position replaced is completely not true. Actually, it's worse than I thought. The loss of Slay is the most felt loss so far in the preseason. You're getting cooked in games. You're getting cooked in practice by lesser dudes. That position has not been fixed, and Vic is not fixing that. Remember what Dave Wannstedt said. Folks, the scheme won't let you down. The players in the scheme will. Maybe not so much this. It's not so much that you lost Slay, but you let Rodgers walk. Rodgers was your third best corner. And you let him go, both of them. One for $7 million, and then the other $7 per, and then the other one for 10. The Eagles got cheap at corner. End of story. There's no debate. There's absolutely no debate. It is in horrible shape. And guess what? It's August 13th. You get 2.5 weeks until you play the Cowboys. You ain't fixing that. Trade quarterback Tanner McKee and picks. Never happened. That's not a deal. How many picks? 2 1s and Tanner? Okay. You think Howie Roseman's going to trade 2 1s and Tanner for Sauce? That's what's going to cost you. I love how Eagle fans try to put up a 2-cent trade to try to get a Ferrari. Handsome hustler. I love your passion. But you got to think bigger than that, my friend. Really. And here's the other one. I go with Jeff DeBone. Why didn't you go get Alexander? My God almighty, he was so cheap. The Ravens got a steal. A steal. We will be okay. You missed my super chat. No, I did not. I got it. Xander, let's see if we got it. Damon says I missed his super chat. Okay. No, I didn't. My bad, Damon. So when we win, they can't say we have the best team. Correct. I don't believe you do. Compared to that roster that you just had, no, you're not close to that roster. Okay? You're better than 95% of the teams in the league still. Your roster. So you still will have a roster that's better than everyone else. Okay? Hey, Damon, both your guards are going to be out game 1. I'm making that proclamation. And one of your corners is horrible. And you've got question marks at safety and question marks on who's going to start next to Zach Bond. Bennett's butt buddies got steamrolled today. Who the F is Gage Lavendrin? He had Jacorian twerking on the field. Very nice, Pump. The Eagles' offensive line is so good. No, they're not without Landon Dickerson and without Becton. A.J. Brown looked unimportant. Well, you're talking last year, you're dead right. Although he is a key piece of the puzzle, that goes to show you the overall strength of the offensive line. Censor, are you under the impression that you think that Saquon Barkley would have gained $2,000 without A.J. Brown blowing people up in the secondary? Are you fucking drunk? Do you think there's any coincidence that he blocked for Derrick Henry too in Tennessee? Becton and Slay are turning out to be massive losses. Okay? As you construct your team. Get this. There's no debating. You're getting annihilated in a practice. Wait till the game. Oh, wait. I saw a game this past week. I saw Chase turn your guys around like you were a turnstile. This might not be that bad a deal. Stephon Gilmore's out there. You might want to get somebody. Okay? You might want to get somebody. Okay? See here. Stop asking if we're drunk. What are you? Racist towards drunks? Yeah, I'm racist towards drunks. Thanks, dude. Yeah. Chase, the best wide receiver in the NFL. No. Well, for fantasy guys and for how the league thinks, yeah. For me, no. Absolutely not. I want a guy who can block. But that's just a preference. Just like my quarter. Get this. AJ's a preference. The norm is Chase. Okay? The norm is having Chase. Who? Slay is rarely available, Sills. How many snaps? Do me a favor, Kyle. Tell Sean how many snaps, counting the postseason, Slay had a year ago. Tell me. How's that? What? Yeah. What do I have to do with this conversation? Again, what the fuck, man? Pointing it at me? You're getting destroyed at corner. Stay focused, kid. I know it's hard. 2-year-olds can stay focused. You know? Let's try to stay on page here. Hey, Sills, you said the same. Guy, you're getting fucking killed. And you just brought a guy in, and he sucks. You really believe that? Again, I said the same shit. You're damn right. And I'm holding to the same shit this year. You're not duplicating it. Amen. Good night. Take the night off, kid. Prince, Jahar Alexander's also get cooked in joint practices. Does that mean he's washed, Sills? I'll tell you what, his resume speaks louder than somebody who's never played before and a guy you traded for the Raiders who was on the 28th worst passing defense in pro football. This guy's trying to tell you that Alexander and his resume and what he's done in pro football is on the same page as Keely Ringo, Eli Ricks, and this guy named Dr. Kevorkian Bennett, that he's in the same room with him. Nice try, Prince. Different dudes. That's like saying if Jalen Hurts throws 4 picks in or like he did today, had a horrible day today, that Jalen Hurts should be benched. Is he washed too? No. Why don't you apply that too? He wasn't very good today. What drama? The guy sucks. What drama are you talking about? Drama. Hey, I'll tell you what. When Dak throws for 465 on you in that opener, and you're talking about having God knows who will be playing. Dude, put Cooper out there. If Cooper's so good, why aren't they putting him out there? If Cooper DeJean is so good, why ain't they putting him out there? See this right here? Let's take a look at this in a regular season here, which is game 1, right? It's not the postseason. So let's put postseason away. The postseason conversation doesn't apply to this. Dak Prescott versus the Eagles. Let's take a look because he said it won't happen. Remember something. Remember this, folks. Don't bring up postseason. It doesn't matter September 4th. Has no bearing. Okay, when we run it back, you have to wear number one Eagle fan. Sure, kid. Sure. No problem. I'm in. Hey, and when I win, you have to get on your knees and walk around and go, all hail Sil. Okay? Do we agree? I will wear an Eagle jersey. You damn right I will. And if I win, all of you are on your knees going like this, all hail to Big Sills. Is that fair? Is that fair? Is that fair? Is that fair? Even Xander, I'm going to make Xander get on his fucking knees too. And you're all going to pray to Big Sills. You're right, Big Sills. Ooh, you're right. I'm just going to get you ready, Xander. Woo! All right. Let's see what old Dak has done against the Eagles like he will on the first week. Where am I here? Here we go. All right. So don't worry because this has nothing to do with the playoffs. This is first game of the year, right? All right. So here's Dak versus the Philadelphia Eagles and what he's accomplished. Let's see here. First game, 287, 2 TDs. Then you go down to the 18th. He had 270 yards and 1 touchdown. Then he 455 and 3 touchdowns. Yeah, you're right. Then he had 374, 3 touchdowns, no picks. 300, 5 touchdowns and no picks. 257, 3 touchdowns and no picks. Yeah, I think it's going to be a long afternoon come September 4th if you don't figure that cornerback spot out. Hey, and by the way, don't bring up postseason. September 4th has nothing to do with the postseason. That's the first regular season game of the year. And in the regular season, he is 9-4 versus you. So, I mean, when we get to the postseason, 455 and 3 touchdowns. One year he threw for 295 and 5 TDs. Holy cow. And you got Eli Ricks and Dr. Kevorkian and Bennett, whoever that is, playing corner. And who's the other guy? The greatness of Keely Bingo. Holy shit. Man. Ew. God, I can't wait for September 4th. This is going to be a great content game. Holy shit, is this going to be good? I don't know what's going to happen with Keely Bingo. Lil Nicky and the Eagles are 4-0 in week 1. How you doing? Yeah, Dak Prescott has pink slip and ownership papers on the Eagles. How you doing? Look, and I'm not even rooting. I hate Dak. I don't hate him. I actually like Dak. I'm okay with Dak. I think he's underachieved in the postseason for sure. Still, signing Stephon Gilmore is an interesting idea. Great resume, Super Bowl pedigree, and has a reputation for working well with younger guys. Might take the edge off of a tough opening stretch of games. I like that because, again, dude, look at the quarterbacks you're playing with Keely Bingo. Keely Bingo. And then this guy Bennett got destroyed. And then you got a guy like, who was it, Prince? Trying to tell you this. Alexander's getting cooked in Baltimore. Is he cooked too? No, because his resume speaks louder. I know who that guy is. I don't know who these other dudes are. These people are nobodies. Yeah, but you said that about Zach Bond. No, I'm sure. The Raiders, on the 28th ranked defensive football team, gave up a top flight corner and this guy Bennett. Yeah, okay. You said the same? Absolutely. Hey, how you feeling about corner? Last year you had jobs already figured out. Okay, Damon, thanks for the super, kid. See you opening day. Tanner McKee could make a good QB1. He's my QB1. I don't know where that's going to be, though. With this secondary, I got 120 points in the first 4 games. Holy shit, I got to get my calculator out. Holy crap. Hang on for a minute. Sorry. Hang on, guys. What does Kyle have you guys going down as? Let's see here. What do you got here? Let me see here. Sorry, guys. 120. divided by 4 equals, okay, carry that, 120 divided by 4, 30 points. I got this number. Ready for this? Yeah. I got given up. I think you'll give up 33 points a game in the first 4 with that secondary. Whoa! Holy shit. You need a corner, man. It's evident. Brian Pump told everyone that Ja'Cory was a non-factor. These casuals owe him an apology. Dude, I'm with you. It was the Raiders who got the better end of that deal. Howie got fleeced. Howie got fleeced for a guy that Vic didn't want to give up. Howie got fleeced. Shit. Not Howie. Not my boy. He got fleeced. Holy shit. This is crazy. How could Howie get fleeced? Man, says you really are dumb, okay? If you had read the entire thing, you would have understood my point. I wasn't saying that you fucking 2-year. I wasn't saying that you fucking 2-year. Okay, if you put that together without a super, I'll put it back up, bro. And if you want, put the other tweet back up. Yeah, because God knows what you guys are going to say here. Let me see here. Hold on. Put that one back up. Sills, I heard the chat. Here we go. There we go. Alexander's also getting cooked in joint practices. That doesn't mean he's washed. It doesn't. I think we are overreacting to training camp practice. No, dude. My problem with what you're doing out there at corner is, I told you, you're putting a guy out there that's never started it down. And that guy does not have the skill set to play corner. And then the other guy, Eli Ray. Dude, when you got a 5-man battle on August 13th, do you really have a guy? That's like telling me the Browns have a quarterback that they're set on with 6 quarterbacks in camp. Dude, nope. When you have a job solidified, nobody's talking about bringing guys in. Nobody's bringing guys in to battle Mailata. They're looking for a swing tackle in the O-line. You don't have an open. Hey, let me do that one too. Let's go here with this. How many days until September 4th? Woo, baby! 3 weeks. 3 weeks. 21 days to figure out that shit position of corner for you. Solid. 22 days until you got the Dallas Cowboys, no, Dak Prescott. Then you got Mahomes. Then you got Stafford. And then you have Baker Mayfield, who owns the team so far in the last 3 games. How you doing? Man, you know what? I'm not rooting against you. I'm rooting for excitement. I'm rooting for excitement. That's what I'm rooting for. It's not for you to lose. I don't want you to get that feeling. Okay? I'm rooting for excitement. You know, the Eagles were pretty boring last year on their way to killing teams. Ain't going to be that way. Jim Kelly will join us at 3:30. How you doing? Hall of Fame quarterback. Did you hear what I said? A Hall of Fame quarterback. First ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. And then we will have Howard Eskin, and then we will have our friend Marcus Hayes from the Inquirer on. DeJean outside corner, McWilliams nickel. Correct. How come the Eagles aren't putting DeJean out there? Huh. I wonder why. Why isn't Cooper playing corner? Guys are sucking out loud at corner. Why aren't you putting them out there? Are you afraid? Are you? Why aren't you putting him out there? How about this? Why aren't you at least trying him out there? Why aren't you giving him any reps out there? Anything? Nothing? Get this. A rotating corner. Yeah, that's normal. A rotating corner. Like he's a relief pitcher for the Phillies. A rotating corner. Got it. Yeah, I've heard that before. A rotating corner. God, yeah. That's usually on a 4-win football team. A rotating corner. Yeah. Oh, Maron. This is going to be so great. Dak, I got him. The first game, Dak's going for 352. I don't know if that wins it, but I know he's going for big numbers in that ball game. He's going to put up over 350 yards in that game. Woo-hoo. So let me get down to business here. Man, you need a corner bad. Okay? I mean, why don't you put Cooper DeJean out there? No, get this. It's getting worse every week. It's not getting better. You know how people, like Xander's been saying this, and everyone's been saying it, and I'm seeing it a little bit too. Sidney Brown's getting better. He's not running away with the position, but at least there's a sign of somebody getting better and getting it. I mean, he's kind of pulling ahead a little bit and getting that job, right? He's getting better. You see that. You see that, like Jahad Campbell's getting better and Smile Munden's getting better. You see a little bit that Jalix Hunt's starting to get better. You're seeing people at corner get worse. Actually, Tyler Steen's getting better. He's getting better. People are getting worse. Pretty soon, Xander's going to be playing corner. Bad foot and all. He's going to be out there playing corner. Holy Maron. What we got going here? I mean, like I said, I am not telling you you're a bad football team. I'm telling you got a shitty corner. The Eagles just sent me an invite for CB2. Where we go. NovaCare Center, baby. Don't worry. Nick Sirianni will be out front telling you where to park your car like he always does. How you doing? Damn. All right. So, you know what? You guys don't want to hear me. How did the team do today in the joint practice? You're going to get that, by the way, on Birds 365 too. CB2. Job just keeps tanking like movie trading places with the stock. Oh, yeah. Hey, frozen orange juice. Hey, how could you do this to us? How could you do this to them? Randolph and Mortimer Duke. Yeah. As soon as you keep talking about Dak against the Eagles, he has done it against this defense and Vic. I don't care what he did against Jim Schwartz. Even though Jim Schwartz helped deliver a Super Bowl, I don't give a shit about that. Okay. Well, this is not the same defense that you had 8 months ago, Junior. Sills, you will eat more than crow this season. Hey, did I miss a Super? I think I may have. Holy cow, man. Give me a break. I'll be eating more. Hey, remember, this is not a preseason this is not a preseason or a postseason game, September 4th. He's dynamite against the Philadelphia Eagles. Seals, you keep talking about Dak against the Eagles. Has he done it against this defense? And Vic, I don't care what he's done against Jim Schwartz. Yeah. Very feminine. I like it. Way to go, Carmine. I'm going to take that back. That's a Paisan's name. And I like that last name. We're good, brother. He hasn't done it, Sills. Versus Vic Fangio. And Carmine. I like that name too. I got a cousin, Carmine. Carmine. Let me say this to you, brother. I find a little bit, Vic Fangio, Nick Sirianni, Carmine, I always got to be careful not to have hate on hate when it comes to a Paisan. We good today? Saucer. Woo! Bang! Like Hulk Hogan coming off the top rope. How you doing? Hey, Carmine, you're my boy. Xander, you better take Sills to see a doctor. Yeah, you know what that is? It's Dr. Dak. Oh, man. Holy cow. I don't know what that means. Too many wops. How you doing? Here comes Pump coming in strong, man. Them super chats are coming in strong. How you doing? Holy cow. You guys think I'm rooting because you're blowing out at corner. No, I like drama. I like content. I like exciting. That's my game. My brother, we got these dudes in shambles. Jackie was really going to be the savior. We got dudes with shirtless profile pics coming after. Fuck, man. Like you're Travis Swift. See that shit today, too? Travis Swift and his girlfriend. I told you, she has his cannoli in her lunch pail. You see that suitcase thing she had with her album in it? Travis Kelce's gonads and cannolis are inside that box. Any chick that can make you change your hairstyle, and you go on the cover of what is that? Vanity Fair? What was he on the cover of? Q? He's shirtless with a snake. Sexy. A chick. Hey, I better be careful because there's somebody else that's rolling down that lane, and I'm not going to say anything. Woo, man. How you doing today? You're all pumped up here with Pumper. How you doing? Man, no cornerback. So let me do something here. Let me deviate a little bit and go, this ain't just Big Sills. So let's see what Elliott Spitzer Shore Park saw today. Okay. Oh, by the way, I know things are going well. Okay. I know things are going well when people are complaining about me. I love it. It's one of the greatest things on the planet here. Okay. Sills, I know one of your corners is bad, but it's a team sport. Vic will be able to get help for the lack that's there. You will see. From who? You've barely figured out safety. I guarantee you this impacts Reed Blankenship's season this year. You want to bet? You want to bet that if that corner's not fixed, your safety position will suffer and Reed will suffer as well. Last year, you had a guy with 6 picks and you had Slay play Pro Bowl football. If you don't get that same dynamic, are you really thinking that Reed Blankenship, who's the lesser of those other 2 players, is going to carry the mail? Reed Blankenship's not a guy who covers for players. He's a communications guy. He's a good football player. He's not better than Gardner Johnson. Get this. Ringo season. How you doing? Keely Bingo. All right. So let's see what Elliott Spitzer Shore Parks had to say about your boy Jalen Hurts today in his practice against the Browns in a joint practice. I haven't read it yet. The first day against the Browns was likely not the way that Hurts wanted to start his 2-day joint practice session. What? The guy who's the Pied Piper for Jalen Hurts starts out his WIP column with this. The first day against the Browns was likely not the way Hurts wanted to start his 2-day joint practice session. Hurts had only 1 interception officially, but he had one that was picked off after he was sacked, but still threw it. He had another that was floating in the air, begging to be intercepted after being deflected, but fell incomplete. He also had an INT in 1-versus-1s, which doesn't count in the stats, but is notable as it rarely happens. The good news for Hurts, here we go. Jesus, man. Talk about being critical. The good news for Hurts is that he did lead 2 touchdown drives. Neither was overly impressive. But he did have 2 touchdown passes from about the 5-yard lines to Devontae and A.J. Brown. His best throw of the day was probably Johnny Wilson for about 25 yards. I think that was that back shoulder pass he threw. Holy cow. Hurts had a shitty day too. So wait a minute. Hurts had a shitty day. You can't figure out cornerback 2. Very productive. Actually, very productive. How you doing? Man. Unbelievable what's going on here. I didn't, by the way, I didn't put the list out from Fox. I didn't write that column. And I'm not the one saying how bad the quarter play is. I'm being told this. Before season started, my biggest worries besides safety and corner was the backups. Correct. If there are problems now, wait until the injuries occur. Team is only as good as the twos, like he had a year ago. I see jaw-dropping cuts coming. Whew, man, I thank you very much, T-Bone. Holy cow. There's going to be a lot of restitution at the end of this year. Be prepared. JAKIB will be sending out, you know that swag that Xander sends out? He'll be sending out autographed knee pads for you guys to be on your knees for the postseason going all hail Sills. All hail Sills. Yeah. Bingo didn't give up 3 TDs. Okay? 2 PLs, 8 receptions, and especially to a guy named Dan Levitan. My goodness, these dudes act like libs. How you doing? Look at Pump, man. 3 TDs. Oh, no. We have something going on awful here. This is awful. Awful. And this isn't my information. I can't wait to hear John McMullen on Birds 365 right after the program with Big Z. Sills, it is very important that Bingo turns the corner somewhere along the line. Quarterbacks will key on him like Maddox last year before DeJean replaced him. You're only as good as your weakest guy. Absolutely. That's team. Spot on, Eric. I heard McMullen has been getting lots of outside reps and had the best cornerback performance today. I could see that. By the way, we brought that guy up. All of you laughed. We brought that guy up earlier, Mac McWilliams. I don't know. There's something about the player. He's a pretty headsy player, but dude, that's going to be your starting 2? Let me ask you this. You think Howie makes a move? With some of those draft picks he has a year from now in April? Still, send McKee. Eagles number 1. The Jets early second and Ringo. They get a quarterback to throw to Garrett Wilson, 2 premium picks, and a young cornerback for Aaron Glenn to work with. Again, those Eagle picks are going to be low picks, though. They're going to be in the 20s and 30s. If 23 was bad, I can't wait for this crapshoot. I'm just the guy to stir the pot, he says. Love these supers, guys. Thank you. I can't wait to see the look on your face at the end of the season. I can't wait, too, and I'll be looking down on you, Damon, and I'll be patting your little head going, all hail Big Sills. Fucking, I just went from Shohei Ohtani to a guy that shoots 98% from the free throw line. Holy shit, man. I'm like the greatest. I'm like Steph Curry from 3. Greatest 3-point shooter of all time. How you doing? Back on track. Down year a year ago. The other 3, we were great. Back to being Big Sills. It's all good. Oh, my God. Again, I'm not saying you're not going to be good. You're missing the point. By the way, they're not. You really believe on August 13th that they're going to trade first-round picks and show panic? No way. Howie's not going to show panic. Remember what Howie said during the offseason, too. You guys got to remember, it's not going to look the same. And be patient. Well, we have been. And it doesn't look the same. There's more question marks heading into the. How about this? You know the difference between a year ago and this year? We didn't see bad performances in training camp, or we saw the defense a year ago actually playing pretty well. Okay? We actually saw that a little bit here. Wow, this is going to be an insane football season, and I can't wait. By the way, bottom of the hour, we are going to have with us Pro Football Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. And then at 4:30, we're going to have Howard Eskin with us. And at 5:30, we will have Marcus Hayes from the Philadelphia Inquirer with us. And the reason why we have people like John Morgan and all these people with us is because why? Nobody in Philadelphia listens to radio in there any longer. One station, we're kicking the shit out of them so bad. What they're doing, I heard they're going to turn it to easy jazz. They're going to turn it to easy jazz. And with that being said, we got a special announcement to be announced here. And who better to bring in than the king himself, Big Joe Kraus? We bring him in now. And he's got a special announcement to make here. Go ahead, Big Joe. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, brother. What a lineup you have on the National Football Show today. I got an opportunity last night to sit in for Xander with John McMullen on Birds 365. By the way, I can't wait to listen to John tonight after his work today down at that joint practice down at the NovaCare. Should be pretty good conversation coming up at 6 o'clock. Listen, you know me now, Dan, and I don't do anything that does not provide an incredible benefit for others. That's who I am. That's how I'm built. That's how I'm made.
Krause's coats.
All of that. And that's how I'm going to leave this world. But I'm here today to announce a partnership with JAKIB Sports with Savvy Seats, which will be a new partner for us for the entire 2025 season. Savvy Seats. I've been working with Savvy Seats for 3 years. I'm not doing a partnership with a ticket broker. I'm doing a partnership with a gentleman by the name of Thomas Gucciato, who is the founder and owner of Savvy Seats. I've been working with them for 3 years. And when I tell you that the individuals and Eagles fans that went to the last 3 Super Bowls, the experience that they were provided, the concierge service, the excellent seating, the value in the cost of the tickets, and all of the stuff that we don't have anymore in this high-tech digital world where you buy tickets from bots. That's what you get from Savvy Seats. So I'm thrilled to announce that partnership. I think it's going to be a fantastic opportunity and benefit for all of JAKIB Nation. And to kick it off, listen to this, Dan. So to kick it off, Savvy Seats has given me 3 or made available for me 3 pairs of tickets for every game on the schedule.
Wow.
Home or away. Okay, so if you live in Florida and you want to go to the
Buck game.
Tampa game at the end of September, boom. If you want to go in November, to Green Bay and you happen to be in Wisconsin, boom. Now listen to this. So listen to the details, and then there's a 2-minute spot that Xander's going to run throughout the day. They're going to go quickly. All right. To support the partnership, JAKIB is going to provide a 20-week sponsorship schedule that is included in the partnership for any of our small business owners, and you have a lot of them that listen to your programming. And we're going to give our small business owners exposure across the entire channel, across the entire game day coverage. And we're rolling out something new this year, details to follow, called the Green Zone. More on that as the month of August rolls along. So the value is tremendous. Your cost, Dan, is probably going to average somewhere between $40 and $50 a week over a 20-week schedule if you're a business owner. So you can quickly do the math and realize it's tremendous value. And you pick the game you would like to go to. You want to go to that Thursday night Dallas game? You pick it. How about this? And I was looking at this before I came on. You want to go to the home opener in Kansas City when the Eagles are in town on the 14th of September?
These are all premier games, too.
It's the whole schedule. And the thing I like about it when I was working with Tommy to put this deal together, it is the thing I love about it.
Or going up to New York, Joe, in the early part of the season, you can make a weekend out of it.
Oh, yeah. Well, listen to this. Here, there's more. And I don't want to run out of time, but there's more. Xander has me on a clock because I know you got a big show. So we're putting together a bus trip to New York, a bus trip to Washington in December.
Wow.
And then how about this? On the weekend of the 28th, and I know it's the Christmas holiday, on the weekend of the 28th in December, we're rolling a 54 passenger out of Philadelphia on a Saturday to Buffalo.
Wow.
For the Eagles Bills. We'll stay over on Saturday night. We'll go to the game Sunday. And then when that game ends on Sunday, it's the long journey back to Philadelphia.
How about this, Joe? I will get Jim Kelly to come by and say hi to all of our people that go up to Buffalo because he lives in Buffalo.
Oh, that'll be incredible.
And he's coming on at the bottom of the program here. So I'll set that up with Jim to make sure that he shows up and does a cameo for you guys, goes down there and meets all the people who makes that bus trip up to Buffalo.
No, it's going to be incredible. It's absolutely going to be incredible. And on the bus trips, we're going to do a full tailgate on location, the whole 9 yards. So those 3 games have been identified. But how about this? For all of your listeners and viewers who are in Dallas, you want to go to the game in Dallas? Boom. I've got 3 pairs that I can work for you to go to that game.
Not a bad seat in the house there, too.
And Dan, these are VIP. This is concierge. You're not going online, buying tickets and spending $1,200 to get 2 seats and you're not quite sure where you are. This is concierge. This is real experience. And you know, I was talking to somebody about it today and he's like, well, why would Savvy Seats want to do this? Well, Savvy Seats is in business to make money. They've been in business and Tommy's been doing this for 15 years. They do concerts. They do MLB playoffs. They do
They're ticket brokers, right, Joe? They're ticket brokers.
They're ticket brokers, but I do not want them lost in the overall umbrella of being a traditional, like you hear every other ticket broker advertised. I don't want to be disrespectful to anybody else.
I got it.
But I will tell you this. All of our JAKIB Media Nation has an opportunity to get VIP, concierge, value priced, no bullshit fees, and attend any game, home or away on the schedule. You pick it. Now, you'll see it in the messaging, and I'm going to get out of here, but you'll see it in the messaging. If you have an interest, and Dan, I want you to hit this every hour today.
Absolutely.
All right. Text Krause at 267 261 3428. 267 261 3428. It's my personal cell number. I want you to have it. I want you to text me if you're interested. Tell me who you are. Give me your email. Tell me what game you're interested in. Tell me your company name if you're a business owner. And I can guarantee beyond the highest expectation, Big Sills, that you can set, that we will over-deliver, and Savvy Seats will over-deliver by the longest shot.
We always over-deliver. 267-261-3428. We're going to put a graphic up, too, every time we're going to promote it each and every single hour to make sure that we end up sending Joe Krause. Because, guys, send Joe Krause a text message if you want to be involved in going to a football game. Can you imagine? This could be, you could be on a ride like you were a year ago, where you're watching this team go all the way to the NFC Championship game and potentially going to Santa Clara and to go into the Super Bowl. You're going to be going on a season journey along with some of the best games on the schedule. I mean, it's the fourth. Get this, Joe, when they say the fourth toughest schedule, you know what that traditionally means? That means you're playing playoff teams. That means you're playing big time. You're not playing like the Titans. You know what I'm saying? You're playing big time games, and you're going to big time events, and you're going to be going on Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. You're going to be starting the season potentially on the 4th, and also in Dallas, Green Bay. You get to go to Lambeau Field. Holy cow, man.
Again, you got the Vikings on the schedule on the road. You got the Chargers on the road. You've got the Bears coming.
That's at SoFi.
Yeah, you got the Bears coming into the link. Again, the thing that is so powerful about it, and listen, if it were just all the home games on the schedule, that would be amazing. But it's not. It's home or away, because your audience is a national audience. By the way, if John Morgan wants to go to the game, tell him to text Krause at 267-261-3428. Yeah, it's really, really good stuff. And I'm sorry to drop in on your show today, but I wanted to make sure that I put it.
You're offering something cool to the fan base. How about this? So, folks, you get a chance to potentially go to Arrowhead.
Yeah,
I mean, if you've never been to Arrowhead, get this, Arrowhead Stadium and Lambeau Field, you guys, these are the cathedrals of the National Football League. SoFi Stadium is one of the greatest stadiums that you'll ever get a chance to go to. You get a chance to go to Jerry's World, which is an amazing environment to go watch a football game, especially when you're following your favorite football team. So, again, 267-261-3428. I want you guys to do me a favor. Blow up Joe Krause's phone like I do usually when I need something. Blow his phone up like I do.
It's 2 a.m, Sills, and my freaking phone's going off.
Too many Coronas in.
It must be a Dan Sileo text. I'll get it in the morning. Hey, listen, real quick before I get out of here. Appreciate the ask of Jim. No expectation, but I will tell you this. That trip to Buffalo, when we announced that and we put that together, now that bus is departing from Philadelphia. All right, so we're leaving from Philadelphia. We've got it tentatively laid out. We're going to leave at 9 a.m. between 9 and 10 a.m. on a Saturday morning. We're going to roll into Buffalo at between 3 and 4 o'clock. The hotel accommodations will be part of it. We'll have the big tailgate on Sunday, and then we'll all ride back home. And Big Sills, believe it or not, I think I'm going to be on the bus with the Buffalo trip.
Holy cow!
I believe so. We'll see what happens. Okay. But right now, that's the plan.
Fantastic. Joe, so do we have like a little bit of a visual so folks can see it here? Do we have a spot here that we can play for folks to see? So let's take a look at some of this.
Let's see if Xander's there to fire it up. He may not have it.
The following is a presentation of JAKIB Sports.
If you're a small business owner or you work for a company that loves the birds, you need to react fast before we've used up our entire ticket allocation. And here's why. In celebration of JAKIB Media's new partnership with Savvy Seats, JAKIB Media will give you a pair of VIP tickets for any game on the 2025 schedule, home or away. And we'll give your company or your boss a 20-week media sponsorship package across the #1 digital network for Eagles coverage, JAKIB Sports. And that includes all of our game day coverage. Cost for your business or company? About $50 a week. Let's recap everything. 20-week sponsorship package on JAKIB Sports, including commercial spots, live reads, and liners. Inclusion in all of our game day coverage, including the soon-to-be-announced Green Zone, and a pair of tickets to the home opener or any game on the 2025 regular season schedule. Remember, that's home or away. If you're in Kansas City and you want to go to the game against the Chiefs, no problem. If you live in Florida and you want to go to the game in Tampa Bay at the end of September, no problem. Text Krause at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And remember, do it quickly before this incredible gift is gone. JAKIB Sports and Savvy Seats put you right in the action with VIP seating, as we are proud to announce our partnership for the 2025 season with Savvy Seats. Text Krause right now at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And pick your game today. If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the professional podcast network of companies and let JAKIB Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio, or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call JAKIB Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Do it right there, Big Joe Krause.
I went way over on time. I got to get out of here, brother. But I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody on JAKIB Nation. It's just been an incredible ride. Xander's doing an incredible job taking this company or his company to a whole new level. And Big Sills, the National Football Show is right in the wheelhouse right now, brother.
Hey, man, we really appreciate that, Joe. And that's such a great vehicle for all of our friends and the people that watch the network and watch the show. So we're really looking forward to that. Thank you again for expanding the show even more. Thank you, Big Joe. We appreciate you, my friend.
All right, guys.
You got it, man. How about that, folks? Now you get not only to talk about the games, but some of you get an opportunity to go to the games. How do you not love that? Hit the like button, guys. How can you not? By the way, bottom of the hour, speaking of Buffalo, the legendary Jim Kelly will join us at the bottom of the hour. So we will talk with him. Also, Howard Eskin's going to join us at 4:30. And then we will also at 5:30 talk to our friend Marcus Hayes. So do me a favor, guys. Please hit that like button. We appreciate each and every single one of you guys here today. So remember to text my friend Joe Krause. Blow it up. 267-261-3428. Savvy Seats. Again, you guys are going to be able to have an opportunity at going to all those games. Now, the first game, though, okay, I mean, look, there's no doubt today, if you get any kind of thing today that's out of the practice, you know what you're getting? You need a corner. Bad news. Hey, where's my boy M. Reyes? Where is M. Reyes? He told me Keely Bingo was all pro. How you doing? I could have swore I heard all pro. Sidney Brown. He'll be okay. Hey, hey, by the way, I heard that there's a problem. I just got this in. Hey, Pump, this is going to be horrible news for Eagle fans. Okay? Xander, I just got breaking news. I just got breaking news here, man. Hold on. This is breaking news. Okay? By the way, Xander, Howard says he hasn't received his link yet. Hold on for a second. Okay? I've got breaking news. Ready, Xander? This is really important. I heard that the ICE officers have been over at NovaCare and they've arrested Jacorian Bennett for impersonating a coroner. We're not sure where he's being locked up right now, but we're getting news that ICE agents have picked up Jacorian for impersonating a coroner. I'll have more details, and maybe John will later on as well. Sills Mike Hilton is a slot specialist in run support. I'd like to see him, and I'd like to see the Birds get him, okay, and move DeJean to CB2. I don't know why they don't put him out there. I can't wait to see JAKIB Nation up there in Buffalo. Oh, my God, they're going to love us. Going to be electric. I already bought tickets. I thought it might be a dud game being late in the season, but I'm stoked now. Hey, how you doing? Listen in. Hey, at least you got one locked up guy. That's right. You're locked up safety, or you're locked up corner who plays zone. How you doing? Yeah, I'm sorry to report that news to you guys that ICE agents are over at NovaCare. And it's being reported that Jacorian Bennett has been detained for impersonating a coroner. It's okay. We'll give you more details as it comes along here. People need to wake up to reality. Bingo and Jax can't play. So obvious. Really. I think Asante Samuel is still available. He is. But still, who RB ups with Ricks, Bennett, Fields, number 2, and roll the dice. Let's make a deal on August 13th. What are you talking about? I'm trying to go to that Charger game to see Herbert throw 4 touchdowns at the Eagle defense. Oh, man. Todd Harris became a YouTube member. You guys are crushing it today. All hail. All hail. All in good fun, too, man. You guys crushing it, man. Touchdowns. Touchdowns, not picks. I got it. No. He said touchdowns, so that's what I read. 4 Herbert touchdowns against that Eagle defense, you mean. And against that cornerback, too. Yeah, you're right. Keely Bingo will pick off 4. I'm sure of it. I got tickets for the Eagles-Broncos game in October. That's going to be a good one, man, I believe, because Denver has a good defense, my friend. Jim Kelly will join us at 3:30 Eastern time. We're looking forward to that, man. I can't wait. Yesterday we had Bernie Kosar on, who was awesome. Okay? Look at this guy. This is a guy here, man. He's the guy that's the last dude on the Titanic telling you the boat's not going down. Here's Spit. The boat's not going down. The boat's not going down. The boat's not going down. And then you know what they do? About 2 hours later, they find Spit in the ocean like an ice cube. That's Spit. Ringo will get it together. Eating crow is easy for Sills. I don't know why I do that. I swear to you, I have no idea. I have no idea why I do that. Maybe it's just because of the feminine vibe that you give off. You see Kimbo here? See Kimbo down here, man? Kimbo comes off like she's got more cannolis than you, man. Spit, you know? I like talking sports to Kim. You? I don't know. You're like a diddler or something. Oh my God. Yeah. Very feminine spit. It's okay, kid. Just I got an exercise for you. You hold one of your couillons, and when you talk to me, hold one of your couillons and make you sound tougher. Sills, I know CB2 is a mess. Another option is grab an edge, DE, and we can get to the quarter. That's another one. That's how you end up covering bad corner play, is getting more pressure. That's a good one. Yeah, Spit, you trigger me to a feminine side of myself. Yeah, you trigger me. Wow. After all this time, think about it. 40 years of broadcasting, Spit triggers me. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Boy, dude, you really have a high value for yourself. Not flagged for holding. Not on Keyshawn, but Keyshawn. Pump is on fire. Look at that. Oh my God, Elite Baltimore. That is so fucking classic. Hey, Pump, you're back to kicking him out again. You're back to kicking him out again, dog. You are on fire, dog. Good one, Big Sills. You're funny. And quite the deliverer. Oh, I am the deliverer. Thank you. That's my new name. I'm the deliverer. I am the sports talk God deliverer. Yes. I say it and it will happen. Yes. You got me. Question. How has proven he is the number one GM? Let me ask you something about that. You really think that he's the number one general manager in pro football over Nick Caserio, who's got 5 rings? Do you really believe that? And what metric is that? He was part of building the greatest dynasty in pro football. You think there's any coincidence that the Texans are back on and winning again because they have accumulated great talent and that the Patriots have fallen off? How could Howie be a better general manager than a guy with 5 rings? Or the guy in Kansas City, Brett Veach, has got 3. How's that possible? I mean, 6 doesn't beat 2. Or 2 doesn't beat 6. Like, how's that possible? Do you really think Howie got it so wrong to give up Booker for Bennett, a dude for a cornerback? Yeah, if the corner can't play. How about this one, T-Bone? Let me ask you this. How's that Kenyon Green guy working out? Just asking. Just asking for a friend. How's Kenyon Green working? How's he working, Kenyon Green? Oh, let me guess. He's hurt or something. Shit, he sucked prior to that. Right? Xander, Jim doesn't have the email yet. Xander, I'm going to send you another one here because I think he sent me a different email address. Okay, let's see here. Xander's not wrong. Yeah, no way. It wasn't him. This is Jim. Okay, hold on. There we go. It's not you, Xander. It's not you. Okay. No. I just text you one. We just okay. Resending now. Resending now for Jim Kelly. Okay. Resending. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, Xander, thank you, brother. Okay, so, yeah, that's not on Z. I got a different email. I got a different email address. So, sending to this one now. Sending to this one. There we go. Okay. T-Bone. Today, Howie's number 1. That doesn't mean a GM hits on every deal. I'm talking about producing rosters that win Super Bowls. Nick Caserio has 5 Super Bowl rings. How in the world are you trying to tell me that 2 beats 5? No GM has ever done that. But 80% of the time or better is terrific. Dude, Nick Caserio won Super Bowls with guys you'll never hear from again when he was in New England. What are you talking about? What exactly are you talking about? Dude, they didn't have Hall of Fame players up there on offense. They found dudes to make players better around Brady that were not frontline guys. Okay. My internet was down this morning. Not sure if, okay. Hopefully you can use your phone. You can use the phone if you have to. You can use the phone. Sorry guys. Use the phone if you have to. Here we go. We'll get him up here. Guys, do me a favor. Please hit the like button here. His internet was down this morning, so he's working through it right now. You can also use the phone, so we'll see if we can end up getting him up here. Okay? Caserio is awesome. Love the Texans. Kim, look at the job that they've done. I mean, now they're back to being one of the better teams in the AFC, even after that Deshaun Watson disaster. Okay? Hey, Xander, can you call Jim Kelly, please? I can't keep doing this here, and thank you, brother. I don't know what's going on. Okay, thank you, bro. Okay. So let's go here. Sills, is Howie better? I don't know. Howie is more flashy and makes bolder moves, usually to cover the mistakes. Not taking a shot, it's just a fact. I'm not saying he's not. Look, dude, if you want, how about this, Bob? If you want to go down the line and you want to go here and do this, and you want to say this, and you want to cut it up like this year, coming into 2025, Howie's the best general manager because of the year he had a year ago. I don't have a problem with that. But in the totality of it, if you're going to try telling me that Howie Roseman is the better general manager of anybody in the NFL right now, I think that's a stretch when you have other guys that have had greater success. Brett Veach has had better success. Caserio's had better success. The Ravens have had enormous success when it comes to general managers with Ozzie Newsome and with Eric DeCosta. I'm not suggesting to you in any way that Howie doesn't come off a great. Howie had a spectacular year. He did. He had a spectacular year. Okay? 0-4 in Super Bowls is like Shooter McGavin losing to Happy Gilmore. Are you under the impression that Jim Kelly is not one of the greatest players in the history of the sport? Well, you're a fucking idiot. Who? Corey Dillon? David Gibbon? Troy Brown? Deion Branch? I didn't go to defense or offensive line. Like I said, who are those guys? Sills agreed. Howie's GM resume is not as impressive as some of his peers. Because I think, listen, I made this comment about Jason Light this morning when I was talking. Somebody asked me how good I thought Jason Light, the GM of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is. And I said this about him. Okay? I said this about Jason Light. Jason Light's best thing ever happened to him was the Devin White thing. Guys, I didn't realize that Devin White. I found out something. Do you guys know why Devin White didn't go to Brazil? I found out something this morning that I think you guys would all be interested in. Do you guys know why Devin White wasn't taken to Brazil? Do you know why? Nope. Nope. You have any idea? Nope. Nope. I'm going to tell you. So get this. You know why the Bucks moved off him and went to KJ Britt? And this is what Howie got fed up with him. I knew something was up. I was told this morning. So they went to Devin White 2 years ago, and they told him, we're going to start platooning you with KJ Britt. And you know what he told him? I'm not a rotation guy. He refused to play. The Eagles a year ago told him he's going to rotate with Nakobe Dean in the Packer game. He said, I don't rotate. And so they left him at home. Devin White told the Eagles and the Buccaneers, okay, that I'm not a rotation guy. So the Bucks went like this. Well, then we're moving on from you. And they did. The Eagles were going to take him to Sao Paulo. They were going to take him. They had him earmarked to go. And when Vic told him, you're going to platoon with Nakobe, best thing ever happened to Nakobe is that Devin White was an asshole. Best thing ever happened because he got his reps. He had a really good year. But this was told to me this morning on what happened, on why he didn't go to Brazil. Casario's good all time, but come on, Sills. 3 Super Bowl appearances in 8 years? Dude, 6 Super Bowl appearances in 20 years or 19 years? Do you understand that every other year that the Patriots were involved in that run, they were in the Super Bowl? Every other year. Not Howie's fault it wasn't 3 rings instead of 1. Howie did his job. Howie's got 2 rings. T-Bone. Every year that Nick Caserio was the general manager, along with Scott Pioli in New England, they went to the Super Bowl every other year just about. What are you talking about? 6 Super Bowls. Think about it. He was there for 13 years as GM. 6. That's every other year they're in a Super Bowl. I mean, what are we talking about here? Right? Hopefully we're going to be able to catch up with Jim Kelly. I have no idea what's going on. Not on Xander, but I don't know what's going on with connecting here with Jim here. Something with the internet and I don't know, something with the email addresses and such. So we'll see if we're able to catch up with him. I hope we can. I'm working with him now on the phone. Fantastic. Fantastic. So Xander's working with him right now. Xander's doing a spectacular job, and we appreciate that. Sales Caserio gets overlooked because of the Brady-Belichick pairing. Yes. Yes. But I don't overlook that stuff. Okay? So let me ask you here. Let's go back here. And let's go back to what we started the show out with. Okay? So the Eagles have a problem right now, corner. Would you bring James Bradbury back? Would you? Would you bring James Bradbury back? Because the guys you have in the building blow. Asante Samuel Jr., that's going to cost you some money. Would you? How about this? Stephon Gilmore. Okay? Negative? Okay. So you would rather hang with people who are not getting the job done. Is that right? Is that right? We wouldn't have moved off of Bradbury if he wasn't cooked. Well, dude, you moved off of Slay and Isaiah Rodgers, and you don't have a replacement. You don't have a plan. You thought you had a plan. You thought you had a plan. You got 21 days counting today, 3 weeks to figure this out. Before Dak goes for 355 in that game on Thursday night. I would be evaluating Greg Newsome right now. Okay. Patriots had virtually no competition in the division. Yeah, that's why they won 6 Super Bowls. No, Eagles, Cowboys, Redskins twice a year. Yeah, because they've been great teams. Remind me when the Redskins were great during the Daniel Snyder time. For what, 3 years of his entire 20 years owning the team? The Cowboys haven't won anything in 25 years. And you're trying to convince me that the Cowboys have been a good football team? And the AFC was not that strong other than Pittsburgh, Baltimore at times. Eagles always played. Bro, they won fucking Super Bowls. They won 6 Super Bowls. I don't give a shit how good the division was. When they got to the playoffs, they beat the top teams. Like, they beat Peyton Manning. Guys, do me a favor. Tell T-Bone. By the way, T-Bone, thanks for the 10. You know who you guys beat in the NFC title game in 17? Who was it? Who was the guy? Case Keenum? Or would you talk to the Browns on the availability of one of their corners? They're not giving up any corners up there, man. Jim Schwartz is not giving them corners up. Sills, I want to solve the corner 2 issue by finding an edge. Now, again, that's a great look at how you could cover that guy because you covered it in 22 that way with a great pass rush. You covered the corner because that's your mentality, right? Your mentality is, look what we did in 22. Bradbury wasn't that good, but we had a high volume of sacks. We had 70 sacks, and we had what? You had a high volume of pressure. That's a great way to look at it. I like that. At this point, Sills, just trying to overcome it, show what a great organization, those with flaws. Don't get desperate. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Desperate what? Oh, don't get desperate by going out. I'm with you on don't get desperate. Like, you don't need to make a move right now when you're talking about first round. And by the way, nobody's going to deal with the Eagles like that. If you're going to deal with a team, you're going to have to deal with a team that is going to be a team that's down near you in your draft. No team at the top of the draft or projected to be at the top of the draft next year is going to trade a top flight guy with a team that could maybe finish, 28th, 30th, 32nd? Why would I do that? Like, the Jets would not trade like this. You would have to give 2 ones and a really good player like Nolan Smith for Sauce Gardner. Why? Because the Eagles are going to pick probably between 28 and 32. That's not worth it to the Jets. If the Jets were ever going to trade a guy like Sauce Gardner, think about this. Why do you think, if you're going to trade Sauce Gardner in the Jets, let's just say that, go down that line with you guys are doing. If you're going to trade a Sauce Gardner, you're going to trade him to the Titans. Because the chances of them having the number 1 pick or the number 3 pick is going to be a high volume pick. If I'm trading with the Eagles, I'm not getting value. Get this. That's basically like saying this. Here's the 33rd pick in the draft. And Tanner McKee. That's not happening. Okay, we got an update. I apologize, guys. Nothing is working for Jim. Internet is down. Phone not working. He's pissed, said, rain check. Wait a minute. Oh, hey, hang on here. Hang on here. Wait a minute, Z. This is going to work out great. I just got a rain check note, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, one of the greatest NFL players of all time pop up on the program. Folks, without further ado, Jim, you want me to give you a second to sit down? There you go.
Oh, I'm sitting.
Hey, dude.
Oh, Lord help me. I can't believe, we tried everything. I have my very good friend, as you well know, Chris McDonald, a.k.a. Shooter McGavin. He's here at my house, and we're trying on his phone. We're trying on my phone, and oh my God! and I even hustled to get my hurricane stuff on.
Absolutely. Jim, I got it all behind me here too, man. And by the way, Bernie Kosar yesterday wanted to make sure he sent love to you, man, because, I didn't know. Hey, Jim, you've gone through numerous things. He's going through it. He was in a hospital yesterday, and he did this show yesterday from his hospital bed, and he's going in for, I believe, a liver transplant in a couple days here. So, he wanted to make sure he sent some love out to you.
Well, I didn't even know that because he was supposed to come to my golf tournament, and I was wondering why he didn't show up. And then, of course, I've had 56 people coming, and I totally forgot until I got your message. I'm going to have to reach out to him today and see how he's doing.
Absolutely. So,
Great
Jim,
guy. I love Bernie.
Absolutely. Jim, how's your health doing, brother?
Good. I can't complain. My motto now is I might have lost 4 Super Bowls, but I kicked cancer's butt 4 times. So I pray to the good Lord that I don't have to do 5.
Hey, am I right? I hear you're adding to the family. Is that right here? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, what was it again?
You're adding to the family here,
Oh,
right?
yes, I am. A month ago, my daughter gave birth to a young man, a little boy named Beau, B-E-A-U, Hunter Bean, B-E-A-N. And unfortunately, he's still in the hospital. He's having some heart issues. So these next couple days, it's going to be huge. He has not been home yet. My daughter and my son-in-law have been up in the hospital for over a month now. They haven't even slept over in their house yet. And unfortunately, my grandson has not left the hospital yet. So the prayers from people, even, hurricane people that have been reaching out to my family and myself, saying how much they're praying for my son. And trust me, Dan, I get it. I know what it's like because when I was laying in my hospital bed, the prayers are what got me through. And if it wasn't for the good Lord having, time for me and to be able to share what I'm going through, to hopefully nobody gives up. That's one thing. My daughter, she is one tough cookie. And the thing is, she was blessed to have a great, great husband, and they're fighting every day of their life. And my little baby grandson, Beau, is fighting for his life. So I appreciate all the prayers for all those people out there listening. Thank you all very much, because we definitely need them.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Jim, we would definitely be praying for this, man, because again, you've gone through so much. And I would say this to you too. You've got a wonderful family, you got a beautiful family as well. And how much does that come back to the people of Buffalo too, that have supported you and your family and supported all the things that you've gone through, especially with what you're dealing with right now? Jim, you talk about fan bases. We're based in Philadelphia. That's another one of those strong fan bases. You're in one of the greatest fan bases of all time, the Buffalo fan base. How much has that meant to you and your family too, being part of that community?
It's been magnificent. As you already well know, when I got out of Miami, I sure the heck didn't want to be a part of Buffalo Bills. And I wasn't at the beginning. I went to the USFL, as you well know, play for the Gamblers. But one of the best decisions I ever made in my life was becoming a Buffalo Bill. And I'll tell you what, the fan base here is unbelievable. They pitch in, they do whatever they have to help whoever it is. And now that I've been removed from the game and I've been through my battles with cancer, now here they are again, fighting for my family and what we're going through with my grandson. So I've been very blessed. As a matter of fact, as you well know, I've been living here now since 1986, and I enjoy it. And of course, I spend my time. I got my best friend, Jeff Peck, who lives in Coconut Grove, Greg Chappella, who was my roommate, who played linebacker at the U. I go down and visit them all the time. As a matter of fact, I think I haven't called Don Bailey back yet, but I'm still trying to work out everything where I go and be a part of the Notre Dame Miami game at the end of the month. So I'm looking forward to doing that and coming down and, getting together with my best friends, and also Rick Remmert, who is a part of Miami, and visiting him and of course the team.
Absolutely, Jim. You're one of the legendary guys. Bernie was yesterday. Jim, before we get into the modern day Bills, what does that mean to you? When you went down there, Howard brings you down there, did you ever think that what you guys were doing was going to be like the centerpiece and the cement of building what became? I mean, we went on to win national championships, but we stand on your shoulders because of what you guys did. That program was almost closed up, Jim. I mean, Penn State wanted you to play linebacker. They didn't want you to play quarterback. So you went down and you became a legend down there, and then you left really a legacy down there. You've got to be so proud of being part of the things that built that program where it is now.
Boy, I tell you what, and as I well know, throughout my life, I've been blessed to have great coaching. I mean, my high school football coach, Terry Henry, who I've taken to 32 Super Bowls, my best friend, just passed away just a couple months ago, and he was my everything. He was the guy that I talked to when I wasn't doing well. He was always there for me. And then, of course, going to Miami and being a part of Howard Schnellenberger's thing, and not knowing back then that we were going to have what they used to call quarterback U. And even now it is with Ward winning, going first pick and everything. So he's brought that back up. Now we got another quarterback. But just to go back a little bit, the people that I surrounded myself with, I wouldn't be where I'm at if I didn't have the players that I had on that football team. And of course, as you well know, you got the Michael Irvins, the Ray Lewis, the Hester, and I can go on and on, all the guys. As a matter of fact, Dan, we just were at the Hall of Fame about a couple weeks ago, and we took a University of Miami, the ones that we could find that were in that huddle, 5 of us. I'll have to send you the picture.
Please.
We took a picture with us, and I think we're like 3rd place now with the most Hall of Fame players in the history of the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. Jim, does Josh Allen ever reach out to you for advice? I mean, of all the guys that you would think would reach out to such a guy that has been there, seen it, gone through all of it, like you said, the ups and downs, the trials and tribulations, do you talk to him a lot?
No, not that much. Early on in the first couple of years, I spent some time with him, but other than that, I don't bother the guy. He has enough people pulling. Plus, he's doing such a great job. He don't need to hear from an old-time quarterback like me. And so, yeah, I mean, I text back and forth in him. I see him, at practice every once in a while, but I don't bother him. I just let him do his thing. I have enough things going on in my life anyway.
Absolutely. Jim, so what do you make of the team this year? I mean, do they have a shot? Do you believe that they have a shot to make it to the Super Bowl this year? I mean, does Allen keep them in that window?
Well, to be honest with you, I thought they've had a shot the last couple of years, but I look at this year's schedule and see how many games and how many tough games they play at home, and most of them are at home. They play, Philadelphia at home. They open up with Baltimore. They play Kansas City at home. They play Cincinnati at home. So most of their tough games are right here. I call it the Ralph. And they play almost all the tough games. And from what I remember, I think I saw a thing saying that the whole season, everybody looked at their favor to win every game. And I don't know of course, I don't think that'll happen because I think, every year you're going to lose 1 or 2. You probably should win. But I think they have the best shot they've ever had. And the key is keeping all the top players healthy, and of course keeping Josh Allen on that field.
Jim, what would a Super Bowl mean to you? I mean, Jim, I say this all the time to folks. When people ask me about Jim Kelly, I say, "Oh, you mean the 4-time AFC Championship quarterback?" And I say that because I played in this league. I know how tough it is to win a game, not just alone the game. I mean, or to get to the game. So for a guy like you, what would a Super Bowl mean to the city of Buffalo and for you personally if they were ever able to close the shop and get that done?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'd be having a big time party, that's for sure. Oh boy, it would mean everything. I mean, of course, I would rather won one myself, but now that I'm done and removed from here, my 2 daughters and my son-in-law, my wife, are the biggest Buffalo Bill fans that there is. We will be there. We'll be celebrating, hopefully. But as a former player, I'm not going to go that far. I would love to see it, but I'll celebrate when it happens, and I just keep my fingers crossed and pray that they at least get that opportunity to go to California, because now it's the 60th Super Bowl. Okay, right. The Bills were founded in 1960. The Super Bowl is in California, I think Northern California.
Yeah, it's in Santa Clara.
Who's from Northern California? Oh, Josh Allen. Oh, and also, Dan, correct me on this. If you know this, I've been told this. I don't know if it's true or not, but the logo of the Super Bowl usually has a lot of the colors of the teams that are going to be going to the game. Is that true?
It's red, white, and blue from what I can remember, the NFL logo. So, yes, I do remember it being red, white, and blue there. Yes.
So these are all going good for us. But you know what? And I was a superstitious quarterback back in the day. I mean, I made sure I put the right thigh pad in before the left thigh pad. Me and Frank Drake went and had our lunch at a certain place every single game after we won. And then, of course, I only would go out on the field with Steve Tasker when we wouldn't have to warm up, and I would not leave the locker room, and the offensive lineman would not allow me to leave the locker room until I was done throwing up. So I went back there plenty of times and pretended I go, and they thought I was real, because there's some games where I wasn't as excited.
How about this? I had Frank on. I love Frank. We've been friends for like 35, 40 years, and I love him. And he told me a story about you in a milkshake place that they brought down the same table and chairs or something because you were so superstitious that you had to have this particular shake and this particular, you had to sit at the same table, that they actually did it. Was that New Orleans they did that for you?
No, we didn't play New Orleans. Minnesota.
Minnesota.
What we did was we went to, if we would win, we would go wherever we went to lunch, because on Friday, Coach allowed us to go have lunch on our own. So we would go to a place and have lunch. If we won, we continued to go there week in and week out. Well, that year when we played Minnesota, we won like 7, 8 games in a row. And so what we would do is go there. I would always have chocolate. Frank would always have vanilla. Shocker. And of course, they sent table, chairs, silverware, napkins. They sent everything to Minnesota because we thought we were, superstitious. It didn't work.
Jim, I got asked this question. We have a couple people that ask this question and want to know from you personally, because this gets thrown around a lot. Would you rather have gone to 4 Super Bowls or have won 1? What would you rather have done?
Well, the bottom line is it would be different if we went to 4 in like 10, 12 years or whatever. But we went 4 in a row. And I would much rather go 4 in a row than only go to 1 Super Bowl. And when I look at it, Warren Moon, one of the greatest quarterbacks to play, never been to a Super Bowl. Eric Dickerson, one of the greatest running backs in the history of the NFL, never been to a Super Bowl. So for me, I was just very blessed that we were able to get back. And you know what, Dan? I think the further we're removed from those games, especially the people that have played competitive sports, they realize what we did will never be done again, and how we were able to come together and be able to do a back-to-back and still not win, but we never, ever gave up. And one of the main reasons, our head coach, Marv Levy, who we just celebrated 100th birthday at the Pro Football Hall of Fame this year.
I saw that there. I have to ask you, because we're based in Philly, what's your takeaway of Jalen Hurts? Jim, before you answer, we get, there's so many people with different things about him. Jim, you were the K-gun, big numbers, everything all in the air, was an air attack, 2903 in passing yards, 18 touchdowns, but they dominated the league. How do you see Jalen Hurts?
I think you're only as good as your defense is. I mean, the good thing about it is he's a great quarterback. Don't get me wrong. He's a great quarterback. He might not be a Josh Allen, but I'll tell you what, I would love, if I was an offensive lineman or running back or wide receiver, I would be blessed to have Jalen Hurts as my quarterback. So I think he does a heck of a job. He's a good leader from what I hear. He's not a big rah-rah type of guy, does a lot of talking, but I met him back when we both received an award when he was coming out of college, and class act from start to finish. And I really haven't spent much time talking to him since then, but he's earned every right to be mentioned as one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL.
Jim, what do you think is your greatest accomplishment in the NFL? What would be that greatest accomplishment that you would outside of your family and in the NFL, what would be that moment for you that you would pin, that you always look back on and go, yeah, that right there for me is the greatest moment?
You know what, Dan? A lot of people say, what was your favorite moment when you played in the NFL? And you said not family. And I can't do without saying that, because what happened was my dad always wanted me to play in the NFL if I ever got that opportunity. And I was very blessed because I was one of those people. I was in my backyard, going up and down the field saying, 2 minutes to go in the Super Bowl. And I would do that with my brothers and my buddies, and we'd be in my backyard playing tackle the man with the ball. And I'd put number 12 on my jersey, and I pretended like I was Terry Bradshaw going down the field. But to be honest with you, it was my first NFL start. We played against the New York Jets back when it was the New York Sack Exchange. And we played at Buffalo. And when I ran out onto that football field and I looked up into the stands and I saw my mom, my dad, my 5 brothers, and I said, you know what? I'm doing it for them. Now it's time for mom and dad to kick back, relax, enjoy life the way you're supposed to. I grew up in a family, we didn't have anything. And I was blessed to have 5 brothers that were never jealous of me. They helped me achieve my ultimate goal, and that was to play in the NFL and take care of mom and dad. So for me, it was all about that. And that, for me personally, that was the best thing that I could ever think about.
Couple last questions for Jim Kelly here. And Jim, first off, I have a story that Kevin Fagan told me about you. Okay. Now
I'm listening.
Okay. Now you tell me that this is kind of myth, that you blew your shoulder out because you were in the back of a truck and you threw something at a Gator fan or something like that. You were like, am I wrong, or am I getting the story wrong here?
You're getting the story wrong. Okay, here's the story. The story was I blew my shoulder out my senior year in college when I was up for the Heisman Trophy against Virginia Tech. I come home, they do surgery on my shoulder, and the doctor says, I hope you studied. I go, why is that? He said, because we had to insert 3 metal rods in your right arm. You may never get the range of motion back. Well, I was dating a girl that went to school at Florida State. So we went up to Florida State, not the Gators.
Okay.
We went up there. Me and my college roommate, Mark Rush, went up there, and we were visiting them. And as a matter of fact, we were in the back seat of a pickup truck riding to the game. And they had a bunch of apples in the truck. Well, we were going, of course, we had our own hats on and everything. And we're going there, and people were talking crap. And I usually said it in different words, but we're talking crap. And I picked up an apple, my mind says, throw an apple at him. And I did. I go, I put myself back probably about 3 weeks to a month. But you know what? I hit my target.
Jim, I've never asked you this question here. I mean, you chose to go to the USFL. Was it really based on just not wanting to go to Buffalo, or was it that you really wanted to be? Now, look, people forget the USFL stuff back in the day. Legendary players were in that league at that time. I mean, great football. Ken Hall, that you played with, was in that league too. You had a bunch of superstar. Herschel was in that.
Reggie White.
And all great players. Why was it really just not wanting to play in Buffalo while you went there, or did you really want to experience that?
Well, I did not want to play in Buffalo, but I thought that was the only opportunity. And of course, we used who had my rights was the Houston Gamblers. We used that as more of a piece to try to get as much money as we can. Well, what happened was Bruce Allen called the Buffalo Bills office, and he said he needed to speak to my agents. Are they still there? And a secretary interrupted our meeting when I was almost ready to sign the contract. We were almost ready to agree. And he said, I think it was Mr. Fagan or somebody, you are wanted on the phone. So he leaves and he's talking to Bruce Allen, and Bruce Allen said, hold on a second. What offer are they giving you? And he threw a number. He said, oh, don't sign that. He said, we got him an offer he can never refuse. We'll give him X amount of money. He can pick whatever team he wants. He can play for anybody in the USFL. Don't sign that contract now. My agent walked back into me and said, hey, guys, we have to postpone this meeting. From that point on, there he was. I wound up signing with the USFL. And tell you what, is a great place where I learned how to learn the passing game with my coach was Mouse Davis, who did the run and shoot. And I was very blessed that, I was able to go there because Buffalo, those 2 years that I was in USFL, they were not very good. They were like back-to-back 2-14 seasons. So it was a blessing for me.
Jim, what was it like to be part of that 83 draft where, it's the most legendary draft, not just for the quarterbacks. Eric Dickerson's in that draft.
Yeah.
The last player in the draft was a legendary Hall of Fame defensive back, and Darryl Green. Everybody was in that draft. It's considered the greatest draft in pro football history. That's got to be also something that you're very proud of, being part of that group with Eric Dickerson and them guys.
It was me. Darryl Green, Jimbo Covert. Yeah, you're right. Darryl Talley, who played for the Bills for many years. But that class that we had, as a matter of fact, while you bring that up, I just got a text message from Ken O'Brien, who I have not talked to in years. Text me and said he's praying for my grandson, which I'm like, wow. I haven't heard from Ken in many, many years. But me and Marino still in LA, we all still stay pretty close. But to have that, and as a matter of fact, when I travel the country speaking, that was one of my trivia questions is name the first and last quarterback taken in the 1983 draft. Not many people, they can name John Elway, but they can't name Dan Marino because they figured he was like second or third quarterback taken, but he was the last quarterback taken in that draft. So that in itself is pretty cool. And of course, Dan and I go back a long way now, and we stay best friends.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, man, we really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you've got a lot on your mind. You've always been kind to me. We're Hurricane Brothers for life. You really set our program up, man. Having you and then Bernie yesterday, two legendary guys that helped our program get to where we were, what I wanted to do in my life. I lost one game at Miami, and I tell everybody, let me tell you something, Jim Kelly, and I have a picture that my friend that Vinny Testaverde gave me.
Oh, yeah.
It was you, it was Bernie, it was Vinny, it was another guy named Vanderway. Am I right?
Yeah, Vanderjack.
Vanderjack.
No,
right?
Man, Kyle Vanderwyn.
Yeah, and Mark Rick was part of that too, right?
Yes, he was.
The former head coach of Georgia and the former Canes head coach. And I said, that's when we were quarterback you, man. We had guys like that where we never had to worry about any of that. Jim, I hope to catch you down there and at the end of the month because Mario asked me to come down too. So I'm thinking of coming down there as well. And I can't wait to press the palms. By the way, our friend Tony Brown, that's one of Tony used to talk about you all the time. So, Jim, God bless your grandkid. We're all going to be praying for you and your family. And make sure we're going to tell your daughter that we're praying for her too as well and her husband. Thank you so much, brother. I love you to death.
I appreciate that. And hey, and my daughter and them, once they get out of the hospital and everything, they have a great podcast, Immeasurably More. It's unbelievable. And they've done it for many, many, I should say probably over a year now. And it's awesome. So Immeasurably More with my daughter, Erin, and Jill. And it'll be interesting to see the conversation they have in the next 6 months when my son, Bo, is getting bigger and stronger.
Absolutely. We can't wait to see that. Maybe he'll be playing quarterback for the Canes and also the Buffalo Bills. I can't wait. Thank you so much, my friend. Jim, I appreciate you more than you know. Thank you, my friend.
You got, bud. Take care. God bless you, bud.
You bet, man. Jim Kelly, the legendary Jim Kelly, made it happen for us. I got a message here from Xander going like this, that Jim's not going to be able to make it happen. And then all of a sudden, there he is. He pops up with us here, man. That was really awesome. And we so appreciate you guys here, man. That's really great. All right, I want to pay some bills because at the bottom of the hour, Howard Eskin's going to join us. And we will talk with him. Absolutely great. My great friends at Morgan & Morgan. Folks, they are the #1 injury law firm in all of America, okay? And they are #1 for a reason, because they win cases. If you're ever injured, do me a favor. Make sure you check out our friends at Morgan & Morgan. Thousands of attorneys from coast to coast make it happen. And get this, you know why they're #1? Because they win. And get this, they do not get paid unless you win. That's why Morgan & Morgan is the #1 injury law firm in all of America. Check them out at forthepeople.com/Big Sales or Pound Law 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sill sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
The following is a presentation of JAKIB Sports.
If you're a small business owner or you work for a company that loves the birds, you need to react fast before we've used up our entire ticket allocation. And here's why. In celebration of JAKIB Media's new partnership with Savvy Seats, JAKIB Media will give you a pair of VIP tickets for any game on the 2025 schedule, home or away. And we'll give your company or your boss a 20-week media sponsorship package across the #1 digital network for Eagles coverage, JAKIB Sports. And that includes all of our game day coverage. Cost for your business or company? About $50 a week. Let's recap everything. 20-week sponsorship package on JAKIB Sports, including commercial spots, live reads, and liners. Inclusion in all of our game day coverage, including the soon-to-be-announced Green Zone, and a pair of tickets to the home opener or any game on the 2025 regular season schedule. Remember, that's home or away. If you're in Kansas City and you want to go to the game against the Chiefs, no problem. If you live in Florida and you want to go to the game in Tampa Bay at the end of September, no problem. Text Krause at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And remember, do it quickly before this incredible gift is gone. JAKIB Sports and Savvy Seats put you right in the action with VIP seating as we are proud to announce our partnership for the 2025 season with Savvy Seats. Text Krause right now at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And pick your game today. If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the professional podcast network of companies and let JAKIB Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call JAKIB Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Big Sills National Football Show. Hit that like button, Freakazoids. We appreciate that. By the way, man, I mean, the legendary names that have been jumping aboard here on the program as of late are incredible. And we so appreciate everybody coming aboard here with us, and can't thank enough. I can't thank you guys enough, too, for getting us through the offseason here. Now we're starting to roll into the regular season, and we appreciate you guys. Please hit that like button. Excuse me. Howard Eskin is going to join us. That'll be at the bottom of the hour, and then we'll talk with Marcus Hayes from the Philadelphia Inquirer. That will be at 5:30. So we appreciate all of you. Your secondary's cooked. Sorry, your secondary's cooked. Cooked. Or is it? How are you feeling about it now? I'll ask you. And by the way, Lane Johnson spoke, and so did Jalen Hurts today. And so did Kevin Patullo. So we'll go over a little bit of what those guys said. So how you feeling now? Fair. Okay? Yeah, Sue, I'm going to work on Battle Royale for tomorrow. We'll do that. I think that'd be cool to get those guys out. We're getting closer to the game. We're going to be 3 weeks out tomorrow from the September 4th game. How you feeling about your secondary now? How you feeling about, by the way, how are you feeling about your defense? How you feeling about it? Well, get this. We'll find out. That's what I said. Okay? People were throwing beer bottles on the field and booing. Not sure what you're talking about. Sills, does DL Jim Jeffcoat belong in the Hall of Fame? No, but Harvey Martin does. Harvey Martin belongs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Jeffcoat over Jim's a good player. I believe he's got over 100 sacks. Okay, I mean, he's in the conversation. Should be discussed. I actually like Jim. I think Jim Jeffcoat, again, he's a really good football player. Is he in the room of being a Hall of Famer? I don't think he's Harvey Martin. I think Harvey belongs in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I'm not going to panic over practice. Practice? Bro, no one's panicking over practice. You can't find a corner in practice. Nobody's panicking. You don't have a fucking corner. You're adding everybody now. Dude, it's a 7-man race. It's a 7-man race for corner. It's not a 2-guy. I mean, most of the time when you have a battle, it's between one or another guy, not 7. It's 7 people, and you still don't know who. Dude, you ask Vic Fangio who the corner is. He goes, I don't know. And it's 3 weeks out. Too many unknowns. Here, let me ask you about your, so far, how you feeling about this? How do you feel about your edge rushing replacements for Josh Sweat and Milton Williams? How do you feel about a scale of 1 to 5? How do you feel about replacing them dudes? Who's replacing Josh Sweat? Aziz Ujulari and Joshua Uche and Jalix Hunt, right? Okay, well, I'm not good there with that. Jalix Hunt is no Josh Sweat. 5. So you think Jalix Hunt is as good as Josh Sweat? Here's another fucking toolbox. Here's another toolbox. Oh, God. Feels great. Jalix Hunt, who's barely beating out Joshua Uche. Okay? He's barely beating out the Timu guy you signed. Aziz Ujulari. Like a Jamaican bobsled team. Will survive. No, you won't. Dak's going to go for 368 on you. How you doing? How about this one? Who's playing next? Who plays next to Zach Bond? Who? Zach Bond don't even know. He was asked that question today. Who do you care who plays next to you? No, I don't know who plays. You know, I have no idea. Okay? Sills, my stance is people don't realize we're replacing proven players with scraps. I know. Oh, I got it. My bad. Dual threat. More like cool runnings group. So Joseph, are you under the impression that Trotter's better than Dean? Is that what you're saying? Trotter's better than Dean, right? Or as good as Dean? Yeah, because if you say one thing, you're taking a shit on another one of your players, and you don't like to do that, you guys. I get it. Dan, thanks for getting Jim on. He's a childhood favorite. Awesome. I love getting, and talking to Jim Kelly. Jim Kelly's one of the greatest Hurricanes of all time. One of my wife's favorite players. You know when my wife started liking Jim Kelly? When he got his ass kicked in the Super Bowl. This guy took a beating in a Super Bowl, that 55-point one that the Cowboys crushed him. Okay, I mean, Sills, after losing 7 starters, we only have trouble at one position. No, you don't. Are you fucking nuts? You actually think that Sidney Brown is as good? Sidney Brown can't tackle. Nor is he a playmaker like Gardner Johnson. Are you high? And you really believe Jalix Hunt is going to be the same productive player that Josh Sweat is? You're fucking drunk. Got to be kidding me. You're delusional, guy. Sills, I think this team is not that good. These guys should just be happy. We won one last year. How he pretty much sat on his hands, that is what it is. Did Howie sit on his hands this offseason? Guess what, Pump? I bring that up. People say, no, he was a god this offseason. And I'm like, what did he do to improve the team? What did Howie Roseman do this offseason to improve the team? With external moves. Name me one. Jahad Campbell, absolutely. That guy Makuba hasn't shown shit yet. Munden has shown more. Give me another guy. Adoree Jackson blows. Who else did you bring in? Uche shown a little. Who else did you bring in to make your team better? Name me one. A.J. Dillon, maybe. Maybe. Okay. If he can get through injuries, maybe. I like the player. I do. There you go, Leon. Shit, Leon's right. Brought him in. Just as good as anybody else they brought in. Keely Bingo sucks. Absolutely, Kim. It's hard to repeat. It's why get this, Kimberly, the NFL sets the Eagles up for disaster. They don't want teams repeating. They do not want teams going back to back and having the NFL hates dynasties. They love parity. You know that famous bullshit word the NFL loves? They love parity. They want everybody to be kind of good. They don't like it when one team gets ahead of the other team. They don't like that. Sills, this season is going to sound like the heckler from Happy Gilmore. No comment. How you doing? Oh, man, this is going to be a good year. Big Sills is going to have plenty of content. And I can't wait for the JAKIB knee pads that are going to be sent out to all of you that says, all hail Sills. And all of you will be scraping along on your knees. Sills, okay, you're right on 24. You know, it wasn't a good year for you, but 21, 22, 23, and 25 were sensational seasons for you. Yes, you'll all be scraping along on your knees. That's right. Look at the bigger picture, Sills. The core of the team and the best players are all, dude, having good players doesn't win Super Bowls. Ask the Cowboys. Having a good unit does. You guys had one Pro Bowler, first team Pro Bowler last year on defense. One. You want to hear something crazy? You didn't have one first team All-Pro guy in your old line. You find that weird? How can you be the best offensive line in pro football and not have one Pro Bowler or first team All-Pro guy? Why is that? Because you have the best unit. You have the best unit. There lies exactly what I'm talking about. You did not have one first team All-Pro offensive lineman. But you had the best group. To be fair, our defense appears to be less than a year ago. And that's, T-Bone, that's a fair comment out of the gate, that first sentence appears. I want to see it too. I don't know. Edge, CB2, and backups at all positions are going to be tested. Your depth will be tested this year because Howie did nothing. Howie, it's starting to look like to me, has done nothing this offseason. Let's make this proclamation. Howie had the McCoopy kid doesn't look like shit yet. He's going to have to prove more to me. Munden does. Jihad looks great. That covers all of that. Okay, so I think that thing looks pretty good to that aspect. But the free agents they brought in, they're nobodies. Except for the kid Dylan. And maybe Pryor turns out to be somebody. Okay? You didn't improve your defense. You took steps back. I said that the entire offseason, and I'll be proven right on it again. Seals improved the team in the short term. Howie did very little in the long term. No, I think it's reversed, Bob. I think Howie did more in the long run to ensure that you're going to be, you may not be great this year, Bob, but I think you're going to be great in 26, 27, and potentially 28. I do. I think you're going to be. Look, there is no question. You got a problem at corner. Now, before we bring Howard Eskin up here, I'll say this to you. These Timo signings are not looking like anything in what they brought in this offseason here. I asked you the question, and I'm going to ask Howard out of the gate when we get him up here. Dude, do you think they cared more about 26 and 27 than 25? Because it sure looks it. Now, again, they've got 7 dudes. 7 battling for the corner spot. Sidney Brown can't tackle. He's got to become a better tackler. Now, again, does that improve with reps? Probably. Your edge rushers. Jalix Hunt's going to replace Josh Sweat's 1,100 reps. Well, I want to see that. I really do. By the way, we really appreciate Jim Kelly coming on. And we have Marcus Hayes at 5:30. He'll step in with us here, but I love talking. I'll tell you this. Make sure you guys check out Howard Eskin's podcast. There's only one other guy that's based in the Philadelphia area that has better guests than me or right in the room with me, and that's Howard. Howard gets all the guys on. He's had Barkley on. I mean, he's had so many great people on his program. Actually, I get inspired to go. I remember I told you the last time he was on, he had Herm on. I go, let's go get Herm. We had Herm on last week. And so we ended up doing that, and we really appreciate him. And, boy, I'll tell you, I got to say this to you. When Landon Dickerson went down, I gotta put this out there to you, man. I don't know what Howard thought of it, but I thought that was a Bob Lang special out there. I know Bob Lang from his days in San Francisco, and that guy was a toolbox out in San Francisco when he was with the 49ers. And so when I saw this, best case scenario, I'm like, that's written by the Eagles. I know that. I don't know what Howard thought of that, but I will tell you, I can't wait to bring him up, so let's do it now. The legendary WIP man himself, Howard Eskin. Look at his face right now. How you doing, Howard?
Oh, I'm just absolutely sensational. How are you? A toolbox. Hey, what tools are in the toolbox?
Not very many. I mean, listen here, man. Let's start out with that. I mean, Landon Dickerson goes down. I mean, you know, I'll ask you to take a look at the offseason here. I won't put the word Timo to you, but maybe one thing that Howie Roseman did to improve the football team exterior-wise when it came to bettering the team with all the losses. Do you think he sat on his hands this offseason?
No, not at all, because he did pick up draft picks, too. He's got a lot of draft picks next year. They have a lot of players that are not under contract for next year, or they have to sign next year. No, he didn't. You know, he did what he had to do, but you can't just keep on signing players for a lot of money. Jalen Carter, I don't remember him being signed. Jordan Davis is on the last year of his contract. He came in the camp in shape, or said he's coming to camp in shape. So that could cost some money. There's I don't know. It would probably be another year before. It has to be another year before you sign Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean. So, and those players are going to get signed. You can't just go out and get everybody. Hey, listen, do they make mistakes? Sure. Every team makes mistakes. Devin White he didn't play a second with the Eagles last year, but those things happen. You take a shot. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but there's more good than bad. I mean, did he get lucky with Zach Bond? Yeah, there's probably a little luck there because it didn't seem like there was a lot of other teams bidding for him. And Zach Bond was one of the best players on defense and may have been the MVP in the Super Bowl.
No, I get that, Howard, but I'm talking about retooling the guys when you lose Sweat, Milton Williams, C.J. Gardner. Darius Slade looks like it's a nightmare now. They got 7 guys fighting for that cornerback spot. They just made a trade with the Raiders to try to bring a guy in, and he got worked over today in practice. So what I'm saying to you is I agree. I think they're going to be good in 26 and 27, and he's setting the future up. But what about 25?
Okay, well, let's just break this down. The guys you mentioned, they were gone. They were gone before the season was over. Josh Sweat, I think there was concern if you sign him to a contract, is he going to give you everything that he gave you in the last year? And I don't think they've gotten it yet, but they're going to get probably a 3rd round compensatory pick if they haven't gotten it already. All right, Darius Slay is overrated. I mean, it's just give me it's Slay. It's just a nice player for years, but he lost some of that. He doesn't want to get up on a player because he doesn't have the same speed anymore. So I was okay with him because whether you have 7 defensive backs or not, Darius Slay wasn't going to be the best corner on this team at one of the corners. It wasn't going to happen. All right. So and who was the 3rd player that you mentioned?
Milt Williams.
Milt Williams is a loss, but you can't sign everybody. And they think they have people. They think Nolan Smith is going to be a real good edge rusher. So does he replace Milt Williams? I'm not sure, but I think he's got the desire if he stays healthy. So I'm not concerned. Milt Williams is the one that say, okay, they lost a good player. The other guys, you can have them. All right. And what was now I forgot your question.
How about Becton's loss now with the injury to Landon Dickerson there, and you got what seems to be that Tyler Steen's having a good camp, but now again, you're talking about and look, you've got the best O-line coach in football here, Howard, with Jeff Stoutland there. But I mean, last year you did have 2,700 rushing yards and one of the greatest rushing performances counting the postseason of all time. I mean, some of these losses, I'm trying to figure out where did they get better at?
Okay, well, the offensive line, you can't foresee injuries.
No.
And the Eagles always try to either sign or draft offensive and defensive linemen because that's where you win football games. So I get that part of it. Landon Dickerson, I'll tell you the play that's going to hurt, the tush push. Landon Dickerson is the tush push because he's so big and so strong. And a lot of times when Jalen is being pushed or whatever, he's leaning towards Landon Dickerson's side. And that's what they're going to miss. But, and again, I don't know. The Eagles never give you the real. They never give you the real. Other teams. I see other teams. Are they absolutely 100% honest? I think they're honest. They share. Other teams seem to me to share a lot more than the Eagles do. Hey, listen. When they first of all, they put it out because these sources the information is given to them by somebody at the Eagles. It's what they want to put out. And then sources tell me and then it's like, well, don't tell them it was from me, but this is what the story. When they said Landon Dickerson, whoever it is that gave him that, said he's week to week. How can a player 340 pounds, that big, come back, and but I'm not I wasn't playing football. I had a meniscus, and I still was told to rehab it for 5 weeks. Now, a player can probably push up that schedule a little bit, but he's big. There's no way he's week to week. There's none.
We had Dr. David Chow on 2 days ago when the news came out, and he was like this. Best case scenario, you're talking about 4-week rehab.
Yeah.
And the game's in 3 weeks, he goes. And then you're talking about a guy who's that big, as you just mentioned. Remember this, Howard? He can't do any conditioning. Are you really going to rush him back like that into a Cowboy?
And how much weight is he going to gain? Yeah,
right. How much weight? He's a 325
Crustables all the time. He's eating Crustables all the time. So how much weight? They're 250 calories a piece. That's a lot of calories when you have 10 of them. It's just, but he's not week to week. And that, whoever replaces him, as good a job as that may be, as that player may do, he's not Landon Dickerson. He's smart. He's good. He's tough. It's really, it's not funny, but it's funny when you think about it. Almost every game he came limping off the field.
Yeah.
Almost every game. So he always gets banged up. I didn't realize, I guess because of where he's drafted, he did have a couple of surgeries.
He did. He had a couple surgeries, one at Florida State and one at Alabama. If you remember the national title game, they had him come out and do a ceremonial hike. Yeah. And you know what? He had an off-season procedure this year too. I mean, they wouldn't tell you, as you said. You know what aggravates me about the
why do you get on Bob Lang just because he manipulates a lot of the information?
He calls my boss all the time, trying to have me fired.
Really?
Yes.
What control does he have over you? That's not fair. That's just not fair.
And he threatens John McMullen when he's in there too. So yeah, I mean, he calls my boss all the time.
Well, I know that I'm not going to get into specifics, but I know the routine. Trust me, I know the routine. So I don't believe me. It's hard for me not to say, but I'm not going to.
I'm sorry. I got to tell you that, Howard. I know that you like those guys, but
yeah, but that's not. He's not. Well, I'll just say.
Watch this.
I wouldn't say I'm not hanging a banner for him.
No, he called my bosses and basically said that we will never allow anybody on his program, because I got a phone number from Frank Reich for Nick Sirianni, and I was being critical of the Jalen Reagor trade, and he called my bosses up, and they basically said that, and he called NBC Sports, NBC Philly. He called up 2 other entities and said that you're not allowed to put any of the hosts from WIP or anybody on my program because he's critical of the Eagles.
Really?
Yes.
You know what? Hey, listen, just do your job.
Angelo told me it's a merit badge.
It's a what?
It's a merit badge that, obviously they care. And I'm like, I'm just on a little old
I don't look at it.
Show, and you care that much about what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't. It's just.
I know what you went, Howard. That's why I'm on your side, because I know what you had to battle, walking that line and being a guy like you and being a person in that market that built Sports Talk. I mean, I give you 1,000% credit for being able to maneuver through that, because nowadays with the teams having so much more power than what they did years ago when we were in it. It's becoming almost impossible.
Yeah, but not everybody is like that. And again, I don't want to get into specifics, at least not yet, because it's just. Hey, listen, just try to help people rather than just try to stop them. And did you say anything that wasn't correct?
No.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, what they don't like is that my connections in the NFL, we get coaches and general managers on, come in and corroborate what I'm saying. And what they just don't like is they just don't like my opinions on a particular subject. Because I really didn't think that really Howie was a really great drafter until the Jalen Reagor decision. And I said this about it. I think the Jalen Reagor move actually has helped him so much, because he'll never allow a coach to make a decision again. And he's been better since that Reagor trade. Prior to that, Name me a corner they ever drafted that was worth the shit under him, or name me even a safety that he was involved in outside of in the last 20 years since 2000 that they've drafted.
You're talking about Howie?
Yeah, Howie's, but they've gotten better. They've gotten better at edge.
Well, yeah, hey, listen, if you're right 55% of the time in the draft, you're doing a hell of a job.
Agreed.
So, and you know, I look at the results. I mean, Howie tries to control things, but in the end,
They're a great organization, Howard.
I'm not going to criticize what he's done because he's done a really good job.
Listen, no, I say this. You know, if you really want to go back to 2000, look at this, Howard. They have never hired a coach, even crappy Chip Kelly. Nobody's had a losing record. So when it comes to hiring head football coaches, they get it right. And it's taken them 25 years to get to this point where they're getting it right. I think they're doing a great job. But again, I think they're over hypersensitive sometimes. They really have a perception issue with something. I mean, even when, you know, the couple of years ago with you and the Brandon Graham thing, I'm watching that whole thing unfold. Does the owner really have to parachute in?
Yeah, but the owner
really
didn't.
like
The owner didn't say anything to him. See, that's one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to Brandon after all that happened. And Brandon's a great guy, and he's really honest with me, and he'll tell me. And that was not the case. Now, were there other people that may have talked to Brandon? Yeah, and he got kind of talked down, and he went in and he apologized to the team and just kind of smoothed it all out. But
it was more IP starting shit with you than it was the team.
They piled on. I shouldn't say they. Certain person piled on. So
yeah, absolutely. So Howard, let me go here with this one.
Yeah, at some point, this is not the time. I mean, they're getting ready for a season. It's important to what they do on the football field. And I don't know how many people care about what happens to you or what happens to me.
Right.
Or, you know, he's really not nice to some of the media people. Nobody cares about that. And I understand. I shouldn't say nobody. Some people, a lot of people don't. But, you know, it's about the football team.
Ask,
so
Howard,
Howard,
all I ask is don't make my job harder. I don't care if you like me or not. Just don't make my job harder.
Yep. And you know, all you got to do is be fair. And if you check, it's not like sports talk people. I know we're off a little bit. It's not like sports talk people nowadays who just roll out bullshit and never bother to check anything. That's not do that. And that is I think that's an issue because in a lot of cases, they just throw it out there, whether it's right, not right, they don't know. But if you check those things and you try to find out what's accurate, what's wrong with being correct and fair? And that's where I've had a little bit of a problem.
Absolutely.
But I'm sorry to get off topic here.
Let's tee it back up here again here. I want to ask you about Stoutland. You think Stoutland carries the same weight, or do you think he has the same aura that a Jim Johnson has? Do you think he's built that kind of reputation up right now where you look at him as truly one of the great hires? And if that's the case, you know, that's a Chip Kelly hire, which is psycho to say that's one of the things that guy left behind. He also left Lane Johnson behind. I mean, you're still feeling some of the results of Chip Kelly.
Now I'm going to kind of straighten out some of that. Okay. Jeff Stoutland is a great offensive line coach, and that's what he wants to be. He doesn't want to be a head coach, and Jim Johnson didn't want to be a head coach. But when and who was the other person that you just mentioned?
Well, Lane Johnson.
Lane Johnson. He didn't want Lane Johnson. Chip Kelly did not want Lane Johnson. He wanted the linebacker from Oregon who lasted like 3 years and then went in the toilet. Oh, what was his name? I forget his name, but it was a linebacker from Oregon. It was a third pick, and he wanted him.
One of his guys.
And I think it was Miami that took him with the third pick, and then he had to end up with Lane Johnson.
Deion Jordan.
Who was it?
Deion Jordan?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's who it was. It was a linebacker. Yeah, linebacker, edge rusher. That's who he wanted from Oregon. So he didn't want Lane Johnson. But, hey, listen, he ended up with the better player because Lane Johnson was the next pick at number 4. And he was, as it turns out, the right pick.
Absolutely. Howard, with all the moves and all the changes, what are you seeing this year? Do you think this team gets to Santa Clara again? And do you think this team gets there, or do you think there's going to be a bumpy ride this year with this team?
I don't know about a bumpy ride, but I don't know about the other end of the spectrum either, because when you say, are they going to get Santa Clara's where the Super Bowl is, outside San Francisco, when you think about them going to back-to-back Super Bowls, that is so hard. And they had almost no injuries, where the team that won the Super Bowl in the 2017 season had 5 key injuries, including the quarterback, and still got there. I don't know that most teams can sustain that. Detroit found out what injuries mean to them. I don't know if they would have gotten to the Super Bowl last year. I still think the Eagles are probably a little bit better. But injuries are the biggest. That's the biggest problem. And you can't foresee injuries. So that's one of the things. It is tough to get back because now your schedule is tougher. The teams come after you, and this nonsense. And I like Nick Sirianni because I think he's a really good head coach. But when he says we're not defending champions, what's he going to do when they drop the flag opening game that says Super Bowl champs? Going to tell his team that's not ours.
No, don't look.
Yeah, don't look. So yeah, hey, listen. Just say you can't live off of last year, but it's hard for players. They got so much attention this offseason, and it's probably harder for the younger players to deal with that. So, can they get back? Absolutely. Will they get back? I think it's very difficult. It's very difficult. Are they going to be good? Absolutely. So it's tough. It really is tough. And everybody's thinking, oh, they're going to back-to-back Super Bowls. Well, if that's the case, then they're just going to go to the Super Bowl for the next 4 years. That's not the case, but they are a very good football team. And Jalen Hurts, he's got to stay healthy. The offensive line has got to stay healthy. And Landon Dickerson, I don't know how long he'll be out. I would doubt that he's going to start the season playing. So
would you rest him? I suggest this. You don't need him to beat the Dallas Cowboys.
I would not play him the first game.
Yeah, because I look at the first 4 games. You're going to need him in KC and against the Rams and the Bucs and maybe even Denver. The Cowboys are the lesser of those 5 teams, right?
Yes. I mean, I would not play him against the Dallas Cowboys. There's no way. But the other thing that coaches do, and not all coaches, Andy Reid doesn't do it. And I know there's other coaches that play their starters. There's no way the starters are playing on Saturday. 0. I said 0 chance that the starters play. They have the joint practice. So when Nick Sirianni speaks, and he'll speak on Thursday, he'll say, well, we'll see about that, but we got a lot of work in with these joint practices. And that's the way he's going to. But it's not fair to the fans. Forget about, is it the right thing to do for players? Yeah, maybe. But you saw Landon Dick. There's a lot of players. Didn't the Chargers lose a player in practice?
Yes, the kid Slater.
Yeah, and did the Raiders lose a player in practice?
Raiders lost the practice too.
Okay, good players. So, and Landon Dickerson was in practice. I don't care if it was the same practice they run. They just happened to run it at their stadium in front of the fans. So you can get hurt in practice. It's a part of football. He gives them a lot of rest, and that's good. But once in a while, when you talked about tackling and Sidney Brown, how's he going to practice tackling when they don't tackle in practice? He plays in a game. Okay, I don't know how many snaps he got in the last game. I like Sidney because he's tough. Now, he makes some mistakes, but he's a tough guy. But how many players can practice tackling? Because you don't practice at all in the preseason, especially when you're not playing the starters.
He hasn't been a good tackler since he got here, and because of what you said, and injuries. Availability plays a lot when it comes to player development too. It's not that I like him. Lovie Smith loved him at Illinois when he was there, and Lovie said the same thing. Here's his deal: He is a great striker. He plays with exceptional energy. But again, when you're playing in space and a Vic Fangio too high, Howard, you got to get guys on the ground. And one of his biggest issues right now is getting and wrapping, putting people on the ground. They were exceptional tacklers last year. Do you not agree? The 22 team wasn't all that hot. The 24 team was exceptional in space and tackling. They were so much better than the 22 team.
Yeah, they really did a much better job. There's no question about it. And I don't know that they played much last year in the preseason. Normally you play in preseason game number 2. You're not going to play in 3. We already know that. He didn't play him in the first game. He's not going to play him in the second game. And they're not going to play in the third game. And with the joint practices, there's really not tackling. You're not supposed to tackle to the ground. So I don't know how you get better in that area without playing in a football game.
So that leads this then, and you're right. And I want to do this, Howard, because I don't want to sound like, oh man, get off my lawn here. Here's the deal here when you do this. You're right. How do you practice fundamentals and how do you practice blocking even? How do you practice tackling and getting people on the ground? These joint practices, I heard the guys talking today, the coaches and the players, and they're like, well, the only thing we don't practice is tackling. Well, hell, football is hitting and tackling.
Yes.
There's 2 things, and that's the 2 things you do, right? Hitting and tackling. So again, do you believe that with so many changes that they had, that they should be playing more guys this exhibition season? You got 7 different starting guys this year between Becton, the 2 D linemen, a new linebacker, a safety, and a corner, plus the rotation pieces of Oren Burks and Isaiah Rodgers. Don't you think you should be playing more younger players?
I think they should play at least a quarter. In the second game, maybe a quarter and a half. And you can't, if you're scared, get a dog. You can't be scared of injuries. It's part of football, and it can happen, as we've seen in practice. So things happen. Your body, ACL injuries, you've seen them, I've seen them. It's almost never is there contact
right
when somebody suffers an ACL injury. It's crazy. So I think they should play a little bit more, but I'm not the coach. He's not the only one. And some coaches play their guys a little bit. Hey, Patrick Mahomes started in the first game. Who's more important to a team than Patrick Mahomes?
And Brady played a ton of exhibition football games when he was in New England. So, but you know what you can't do, Howard? And here's my problem with it. You can't deny the health that they have at the end of a season each year. They're always healthy. So you got to side on the side that, again, hey, they're healthy, they win, they're doing all this. Well, let me ask you a couple last ones here now. Sure. All right. I'm going to play a game with you here.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you.
I love games. I'm
going to play a game with you here. I want you to.
If I win, do I get a quarter?
Yeah, you get one of them dolls that you had, one of them bobblehead dolls.
All right, here's what I get. I don't know if you can see this, and nobody will know what that is. Let me see nobody will know what that is. That's $1.
It's $1.
It's a Susan B. Anthony dollar.
Holy cow! I love it. All right.
Well, you can still get them, but nobody. If I walk into a store and I say I'm buying something, I say here, and they'll say, "What's that?"
Hey, let me just tell you this. See, Howard carries Susan B. Anthony dollars. I carry pesos in my wallet. Howard, Dak Prescott. What do you make of him? What do you think? What do you think of Dak Prescott?
I think he's the most overrated quarterback in the NFL. He is such a fraud. When he piles up he piles up in a lot of games when the Cowboys are behind against good teams, he'll pile up numbers at the end because he's always passing. He's
9-4 versus the Eagles,
Yeah, but they didn't play anybody for a couple of those games, right? Weren't they games that didn't mean anything?
I'm just throwing a number out at you, Howard.
And how many playoff games has he won?
I'm just throwing games against the Eagles.
Okay, for those stinking Dallas Cowboy fans, the Cowboys will never, that's Never, because Cowboy fans can't get past 4 letters when they spell something. Never, that's 5 letters, by the way, Cowboys fans, will never get to a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott as the quarterback. Never. How's that? How's that?
Okay, I like
All right.
it.
Does that answer the
I got
question?
another one for you here.
All right.
Josh Allen. What do you make of Josh Allen?
I think he's terrific. I don't think it's his fault that they haven't gotten to the Super Bowl. I thought Buffalo and Baltimore were the 2 best teams in the AFC last year, maybe the 2 best teams in football. We'll never know because the Eagles got there against the Kansas City team that clearly wasn't the best team in the AFC. I think Josh Allen handles things really well. He's got a great personality. I like his personality, which helps him handle things. The fact that he runs a lot, if that's the way they're going to win, I think Josh Allen, pretty good pick. What was he, the 9th pick in the draft that year?
Yep.
Pretty good pick and a really good quarterback. I think Josh Allen is probably in the top 5.
Patrick Mahomes.
He got eaten up by all the attention, I guess. And his offensive line sucked.
It did.
It didn't suck. They were average at best.
Yes.
I think Patrick Mahomes is great because he ad-libs as well or not better than anybody when he's in trouble. And then he throws the ball left-handed. So you got to love the way he played the game. But I think last year, they didn't have an offensive line. And I think there was too much of a distraction with all the other stuff going on.
How about this? Let me ask you this about Mahomes here. I see similarities on what and how Randall played. Like if Randall had the old line of today of the Eagles and had the skilled people, not that they had bad skilled people, Howard. I mean, you had Keith Jackson, Keith Byers. There were good football players offensively,
Yep.
but except in the old line, they really didn't have it. And I don't know what the coaching, I can't remember who the OC was at the time, but if you had this talent, don't you think Randall would have won a Super Bowl if they had the talent on this team that he played with?
If he played the way he played in Minnesota, he would have.
Okay.
Otherwise, Buddy Ryan,
Brian
was
Billick.
if Buddy Ryan told Randall, hey, if you don't see somebody, just run. So he didn't. There was a guy named Doug Scoville who was not there that long. I believe he passed away. Doug Scoville was great, but Buddy said, hey, listen, if you don't see something, just take off. And that's not good. You're always better. And I don't know if it's John Elway that said it. You're going to get more first downs with 3rd and 9s with passing the football rather than running the football. It's a fact of life. So, but Randall just was told by Buddy, hey, listen, you don't see something, so Randall didn't really go through the progressions as well with the Eagles, where he learned more and was better when he got to Minnesota. And probably they should have gotten that. Was that an NFC championship game
they
when
lost
the guy
to
missed the
Atlanta.
field? Yeah, when they lost it. Yeah, when the guy missed the field goal.
Yeah, they lost to Atlanta there. Do you think right now, I see somebody in our chat here, do you think Jalen Hurts right now, if everything is said and done, you think he's the greatest Eagle quarterback that's ever played in your time covering the team?
Not yet. Donovan McNabb. Donovan McNabb never won a Super Bowl, but Donovan McNabb had Todd Pinkston and I forget who the other wide receivers. Yeah, Fred X. He had a bunch of different wide receivers, and they just weren't as good talent-wise as this team. But Donovan McNabb, and in the end, Donovan McNabb may not be if Jalen Hurts continues to stay along the same path. He might be the best quarterback, but I don't think you can say after 5 years that Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback. I still think it's Donovan McNabb. They won. They didn't win, but they got to five NFC championship games. That's not easy to do. Now the head coach is the best in football, better than Belichick clearly. But Donovan McNabb, I still think is the best quarterback in Eagles history. However, he may not be when Jalen Hurts' career is over.
Do you think that Nick Sirianni is a better coach than Andy Reid, Philly? Not Andy Reid, KC, Philly. Do you think he's a better coach than Andy Reid?
No, nope. I do not. I think he's a really good coach. And if you look at coaches, you look at coaches, people in this town will look at Dick Vermeil. It was a good coach, got to a Super Bowl. They'll look at Andy Reid. They didn't want to look at Nick Sirianni. They were ready to fire him after like 4 games.
Last year they were ready to fire him going into the bye.
Yeah, it's just the people are so ridiculous. But I still think Andy Reid's better, but Nick Sirianni's probably number 2, and Dick Vermeil's probably 3.
Where's Doug Peterson?
What's that?
Where's Doug Peterson in that?
You know what? He's probably in the top 5. He's 4, but they won for a lot of reasons. But I think Doug, what was his nickname? Big Balls Doug?
Yeah.
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 He would take chances. He was probably one of the first coaches that started to go for it on 4th down, 4th and short. He was probably one of the first guys.
I think Howard, the greatest moment.
Well, maybe Doug, maybe because they won the Super Bowl, so you give him that. He and Vermeil probably tied for 3rd, but I still think Sirianni's really good, and he's behind Andy Reid.
How about this though, man? That moment in that Super Bowl where it was like this, he's looking like this at all the papers. Foles comes over to him, and he goes, Philly, Philly, and he goes, okay. I mean, I still, as a guy, this was back then 30,000 feet to right now where I'm on top of it. I think that's one of the greatest Super Bowl quarterback moments I've ever seen in a
There's
game.
No question. I'll tell you, there's a backstory, and I'm going to try to make this quick for your benefit if you want. I had Doug Peterson on my podcast last week.
That's right.
And we did the backstories, and I posted a lot of those comments on my Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all that. But there's a backstory. Number one, that wasn't even in his playbook. It was a gadget play. And then it was a gadget play. It wasn't
that makes it even greater.
I know. It wasn't even in his playbook. And then when Nick came over and mentioned it, that's when he said, yeah, it's a great situation. You know, I'm not paraphrasing what he said. You got to listen to it, but he explains the whole thing. Wasn't even in the playbook. And here's another part of the backstory. They didn't even practice that play that week of the Super Bowl. They practiced it before the Minnesota game, which was the NFC Championship game. And he said it was horrible. Trey Burton couldn't complete the pass. Multiple times he threw it into the ground. He threw it over his head. You know when they practiced it the Super Bowl week, because he was afraid of, probably he didn't come out and say it, Belichick having somebody watch them practice. They were practicing at a college. They practiced it in the ballroom the night before the game, the ballroom at the hotel, a walkthrough of the play, because he didn't want to practice it on the practice field.
This is
now
legend.
think about how great that play is with all. That's backstory to the whole play. It's just
so it's like drawing it up in the dirt.
Yeah, I know. It's like, how about Philly, Philly? Let's do it.
I think that's one of the greatest moments in
I know.
Philadelphia sports history. Is that there? All right, that's great. I got a shift here for you now. Are you weren't? I don't know. Wait a minute. Maybe that was Angelo, because Angelo wasn't really on the Phillies, and he wasn't really. But now they got a 5-game lead, and they kind of pushed it. They kind of pushed it up on right now on the Mets right now. Are you buying more of them? I asked Bob Nightingale this question from USA Today. I go, if you had to take the Phillies over the Dodgers in an NLCS, who would you take? Bob Nightingale from USA Today goes, I'd take the Phillies over the Dodgers in a 7-game series right now because of their back end of their bullpen and what they're doing compared to what the Dodgers don't have. Not that it's sensational, but he says the Dodgers right now are just not performing in that bullpen right now.
Well, yeah, they don't have the pitching right now, but the Dodgers were the wrong team to compare. Would you take the Phillies over Milwaukee?
No.
No,
I don't even know those guys. I mean,
they are
Christian
really
Yelich,
good.
Kristen,
They are.
they've get this since the All-Star break. You ready for this? They've got 2 11-game win streaks.
It's amazing. And the other thing with the Phillies, hey, their pitching is really good, and that's fine. But they don't put the ball in play. They don't score enough runs. And in the playoffs, pitching's going to be better, and you're not going to hit. If they don't hit home runs, they don't win. Last night, as we speak, it was the game against Cincinnati. They lost 6-1. The one run they scored was a totally meaningless home run in the 9th inning when they're down 6-0. It's just they don't score without home runs. They don't score enough runs. Bryce Harper's hitting about 260.
And you think that's going to catch them, that they look for the big fly in the souvenir and they don't move the runners over in playoff baseball, where you have to have starting pitching and you've got to be great in runners in scoring position. And they're not.
No, they're not. So the Dodgers were a bad comparison. I don't know right now how good San Diego is. That would be an interesting matchup.
They had a 9-game lead on the Dodgers had a 9-game lead on the Padres, and AJ Preller, the general manager, went all in. They pushed their chips in again. The Dodgers made no moves. I love Andrew Friedman. I think he's a great general manager, but boy, man, they have. Would you not say that the Dodgers have been disappointing this year, at least in the regular season? I thought they were going to win 110 games.
Well, remember, they've had a lot of injuries, and they're pitching. You got to have some pitching. You got to have 3 starters. And they didn't have that. I still think the Dodgers are a good team. I don't even know if the Dodgers will play the Phillies in the playoffs, but San Diego is going to be really, really interesting. And Milwaukee. And here's the other thing. If the Phillies have to play Milwaukee, the home field will go to Milwaukee. Milwaukee swept the Phillies in Philadelphia. Phillies have 3 games out there. I forget when it's coming up. But if Milwaukee wins one of those games, then they have the tiebreaker for the home field. So that's something that's got to be thought about too. The Phillies just don't score enough runs the conventional way. And I know we're not into conventional ways of playing baseball. And that, I think, is a problem. You got to drive runners in scoring position. You can't strike out. They don't strike out as much, but they still strike out. And I made this point on the last time I did a podcast. I did a show. My lineup does not have Bryce Harper hitting 3rd. That's bad. 5th is what I said. Yeah. 5th is what I said.
That's where he should be hitting right now.
I know, but the world will explode because Bryce Harper won't accept that.
Here's something I'll ask you too. If you're Dombrowski, you bring Schwarber back?
I'll tell you, Schwarber's going to get at least 4 years.
40-plus bombs right now, man. He's hitting a big yard ball.
You got to bring him back. However, you got 2 guys making $300 million. You got Zach Wheeler making $40 million a year. You're going to have to sign some of the other players who are your young players, not for crazy money. People say, "Well, trade Castellanos." What? That's not good. It's $20 million. Kyle Schwarber, I think, just talking to people in baseball, is going to get probably close to 40, if not 40 million a year in today's. Well, just think about that. And here's the other thing you got to think about. For at least 4 years,
wow,
can they do that, especially if there's a salary cap after next season?
Which Rob Manfred is kind of pushing.
Yeah, you got to have some kind of cap.
Don't forget this too, Howard. 26. There's going to be a work stoppage, in my opinion, too. So you've got to put all of that into context, because the players are not going to go for that salary cap where you have a ceiling and a floor. They're not going for that. Why would I? If I'm an agent and I'm a Major League Baseball agent, why would I want a salary cap?
That's but you gotta make it even for teams like Pittsburgh. And
I get it. I understand. That's why football is where it is, because there's profit sharing.
Yes. You got to create more of an even playing field because teams are not in cities that can generate what Chicago does, what Boston does, what New
That's
York
right.
does,
The
and what
A's,
Philadelphia does.
places
Yeah.
like the A's and stuff like that, where they
Yeah.
don't have a lot of money. The Rays don't have a lot of money. The Marlins. I mean, you've got to make it so again where everybody's going to be competitive. I mean, last time I talked to you, the Cincinnati Reds and the Pirates when I was a kid, I don't ever remember them sucking.
Okay,
Like
I'm gonna
ever.
if the Cincinnati Reds in that little league ball field that they play in, that might be the easiest park to hit home runs in. Maybe Houston might be another one, but Cincinnati, Kyle Schwarber is from the Cincinnati area. Not that that makes any difference. If the Reds step up, and I don't think they have a lot of players making a lot of money.
No, they don't.
If they step up, the Reds aren't that far away.
No, they're in third place, and right now they're like, again, they're hanging in there for the wild card right now, and they've been playing some pretty good baseball right now.
Yeah.
So I mean, like you said, they're probably 2 or 3 players away, and right now, Howard, they're 2 out in the wild card, so they're pretty close.
Yep. And so I wouldn't be surprised if they make a big run at Schwarber, and obviously he's not going to sign before the end of the season. Otherwise, they would have done it. The numbers are maybe asking for are much larger than the Phillies really want to pay. The Phillies now, it's too late. Schwarber's going to wait till the end of the season, and we'll see and there's going to be some big numbers out there, and whether the Phillies can kind of fit that in. I just, I would trade either Harper or Turner, but you're not going to trade either one of them.
How about this one here? Let me ask you this about Rob Thompson. If he doesn't get that team into at least the NLCS, in your opinion, is there a change going to be made, in your opinion, for the manager?
I would say so. Yeah, because the manager always gets blamed. But I don't know, who do you hire as a manager? I mean, like, what is it going to make any difference?
No.
So it's not going to make any difference. I think
it's like the Yankees getting rid of Aaron Boone. Who are you going to put in there? You still got Brian Cashman in there.
Well, but then they've had some injuries too, which have really restricted.
Yeah, but they're not a very good defensive baseball team. They're just not, Howard. I mean, they can't play defense. That might be the worst Yankee defensive baseball team in my entire lifetime. Having been a fan my whole life, I can't believe how poor they just can't field. And if you take Aaron Judge off that team, he's having a great year, 337, 38 bombs. He's probably going to be in a conversation. I still think the guy in Seattle is going to win the MVP.
Oh, he
Cal
should.
Riley.
Yeah, he should.
I mean, have you ever heard of a catcher hitting 60 home runs?
No.
And
he should be the MVP.
He was voted the best defensive player in baseball, and he's a catcher at the most important position in baseball.
Yeah,
and he's going to hit 65 bombs, and his team's tied for first place with the Astros right now.
Yeah, he's really good. Because Aaron Judge missed too much time, so his numbers won't compute to what he has. So I think he's the MVP. And if Aaron Judge didn't get hurt, it would probably be interesting, and it would be New York. And the MVP in the National League is going to be interesting too. If the Phillies finish first, I don't know that Kyle Schwarber won't get a lot of votes. I mean, who else on the Phillies? Who else on the Phillies?
Yeah, well, if you think about it, he's up there, right? He's up like 43 or something like that. He's got
42 or 43.
Yeah, he's up there. So I mean, he'd be in that conversation in the National League. Yeah, but I think it's Cal over the American League right now. But I could see Schwarber getting. You're still going to have to overcome Ohtani. Ohtani. He's hit his 43rd bomb last night.
How many? 43.
He's got 43, and he's pitching again, and he's doing a great job for him.
Yeah, he technically really is the MVP, but Schwarber's right in the conversation.
What do you got coming up on the podcast?
Well, tonight I'm on, and it is the 20th anniversary. I don't know if you remember this, of Terrell Owens doing sit-ups in his driveway.
No way! Great pull.
I didn't get Terrell Owens, but.
Great pull in history. I didn't realize that because I love that stuff.
Okay. Brad Childress, who was a head coach at Minnesota, and he was the offensive coordinator for the Eagles for 2 or 3 years. And he was the offensive coordinator. So we're going to talk about that tonight because I'm sure he has vivid memories of that situation. I was in that in the driveway. It was a joke. And then Drew Rosenhaus. So I know you, and I know him. I don't know him as well as you because you went to the University of Miami, and he was all over everybody down there. So we get along now. But Drew came out there when he asked. Every time he was asked a question, when he came strolling in after a while and doing sit-ups, and you would ask him a question. Next question. T.O. signed a contract, and after 1 year, he didn't get paid enough. You're going to love this. You're going to love this too. T.O. was on CNBC with a guy, the host name was Donnie Deutsch on CNBC. T.O. went on when he got, told to leave camp. T.O. went on and said he needed a new contract to get money to feed his family. Okay. So what I did is I conducted a canned food drive for T.O. and people saying canned food. And I left it for T.O. just so he could feed his family.
You did this on the afternoon show.
He hated me for that.
Oh my God. Wait a minute. Howard's getting him raviolis in a can. Into his
so we're going to talk about the moment. We're going to talk about
I pull up a bag, and this is from Howard asking, canned Chef Boyardee. What?
Hey, listen, whatever it takes, I want to make sure his family is fed.
I got it. Hey, Howard will be watching. Thank you so much for always finding time for me. I so appreciate you. And thank you again for doing this.
All right. Hey, my pleasure. Take care and have a great day.
You got it. Great Howard Eskin. We appreciate him so much, guys. Absolutely always fun catching up. I love talking sports with him, man. I really do. There's very few people on the planet that I would ever sit around and talk sports like that with because I'm with him. I don't believe in partner radio, but that's a guy that I would sit down and do something with like that. Because I believe most of that stuff is jerry-rigged, and that's not really real. It's not genuine. But when you get people like him and Angelo, you know what? And by the way, guys like that get it. It's all about entertainment. And it's entertainment and being right, not being a toolbox and just throwing BS out there. But I love it, man. Great stuff. And make sure you guys please check out my friend Howard Eskin's podcast. He does such a great job and gets major guys on. And they're really absolutely fabulous. I want to pay some bills here, guys, before we get Marcus Hayes on at the bottom of the hour here. Don't forget our friends at Morgan & Morgan, the #1 injury law firm in all of America for a reason. That's because they win. Hear me out? They win. They are the #1 injury law firm on the planet. And get this, they don't charge you unless you win. That's how easy it is for them. And you know why they win? Thousands of attorneys from coast to coast make sure that they're defending you and your family against frivolous lawsuits that people will have. They will go in and make sure that they take care of you and your family. Do me a favor, log on to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor, you tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
The following is a presentation of JAKIB Sports.
If you're a small business owner or you work for a company that loves the birds, you need to react fast before we've used up our entire ticket allocation. And here's why. In celebration of JAKIB Media's new partnership with Savvy Seats, JAKIB Media will give you a pair of VIP tickets for any game on the 2025 schedule, home or away. And we'll give your company or your boss a 20-week media sponsorship package across the #1 digital network for Eagles coverage, JAKIB Sports, and that includes all of our game day coverage. Cost for your business or company? About $50 a week. Let's recap everything. 20-week sponsorship package on JAKIB Sports, including commercial spots, live reads, and liners. Inclusion in all of our game day coverage, including the soon-to-be-announced Green Zone, and a pair of tickets to the home opener or any game on the 2025 regular season schedule. Remember, that's home or away. If you're in Kansas City and you want to go to the game against the Chiefs, no problem. If you live in Florida and you want to go to the game in Tampa Bay at the end of September, no problem. Text Krause at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And remember, do it quickly before this incredible gift is gone. JAKIB Sports and Savvy Seats puts you right in the action with VIP seating, as we are proud to announce our partnership for the 2025 season with Savvy Seats. Text Krause right now at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And pick your game today. If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the professional podcast network of companies and let JAKIB Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio, or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call JAKIB Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
EAGLES, Eagles.
Moving along here. Hit the like button, guys. Let's see if we can get to 200 today before the end of the program. Bottom of the hour, here in a couple minutes, Marcus Hayes is going to join us from the Philadelphia Inquirer. We're going to get his spin on what he sees with this Eagle team and how the offseason has gone so far. Had a wild day so far. Make sure you also do me a favor, too, with Savvy Seats here. Make sure you're blowing Joe Krause's phone up here at 267-261-3428 if you're a business owner and you want to have an opportunity at going to any game, home or away. They are going to make sure that they set you up with a VIP opportunity for you to be able to go to any game. You might be at Lambeau Field. Have you ever been at Lambeau Field? Or have you ever gone to Arrowhead? These are the cathedrals of pro football. 267-261-3428. You get an opportunity to do that, folks. And again, the great viewers that we have here, we're giving you an opportunity to go to any game, 17 games regular season that the Philadelphia Eagles are involved in. You may be at Jerry's World. Pretty cool, man. Give you a chance to do that. So we're hooking up with these guys, and we appreciate that. We appreciate you guys watching the program here. Marcus Hayes from the Inquirer is going to be with us. That'll again be at the bottom of the hour. So when you see that number, just text away. You can also text him how much you love Big Sills too. How you doing? All right. Before I get to Landon Dickerson and Jalen Hurts, they spoke today, by the way. Excuse me. They spoke today. So we will we're going to hit on that a little bit here. Just want to thank you for Bernie yesterday and Jim. It worked out that way. I've never had those guys like that back to back. I mean, you have to understand something about a hurricane guy like me and having Bernie Kosar and Jim Kelly and seeing both of those guys not in the best of health. And by the way, Jim Kelly's grandson is struggling for his life right now. Hasn't left the hospital. He was born a month ago. And these next 24 hours are going to be critical in whether or not he survives. So, I mean, hey, man, you could be Jim Kelly. You could be Bernie Kosar. You could be Twiz. You could be me. Life has a funny way of handing you adversity, right? Doesn't matter who you are. Get this, man. Adversity has no preference. Doesn't matter. You're famous, not famous. I mean, crazy, right? Jim Kelly's lost half of his jaw to cancer. Bernie Kosar in a couple of days is going in for a new liver. Both those men I love. Former teammates of mine. I mean, they mean a lot. Those guys matter. I mean, they do. I've known those men since I was 17 years old. So, all right. I got to say this before we get a little bit on Landon and a little bit on Hurts. We'll do that here in a minute. They spoke today. Tom Brady was asked an interesting question. Brady was asked an interesting question. I think it was on a podcast that he was on recently. And somebody asked him, they said, if you were in today's college football, would you transfer and use the transfer portal because of how they treated you at Michigan? You know what Brady's response was? He goes, everything that happened to me at Michigan formed me for the man I was going to become in the NFL. With all the adversity. Remember, they tried giving that job to Drew Henson. And he said this. He goes, I think it's easy to quit. I think today people go into the portal, and I think it's easy to run from a challenge. He said more young people today run from challenges, and that's what's separating people from the past. Where he's talking to where you are now. I think more kids today run from challenges than taking them head on. You know, not everything's going to be perfect. It's just not. You've got to overcome that stuff. And his point was this. If I had transferred, it would have been so easy for me to transfer if I was in today instead of battling and fighting for what I needed to fight for, because all of that stuff, plus the 6th round draft choice, led me to being the quarterback I became in the NFL. He's right. Doesn't that sound like Jalen Hurts? Jalen didn't run. Remember what he did? He stayed at Alabama. He didn't transfer right away. Then when he knew he wasn't going to get the job, then he transferred to OU. But that's kind of what he did, right? He didn't transfer right away. He sat there, he sucked it up. But he didn't. You're missing the point, obviously, because none of you hear points. You only hear rhetoric. And so then he ends up going because he had to. And right, if he doesn't transfer, he doesn't go to the NFL. They're not going to draft him. He'd be a UDFA. Nobody would ever. For him to make it to the Eagles, get this, he got to the Eagles because of Oklahoma, not Alabama. That's how he got there. And it formed him into driving. And again, he said it today. Jalen Hurts said it today. I wrote it down. My journey wasn't easy. Here's Hurts talking. Not an easy journey where I came from. Everything you need to know about how he prepares for his football season is in that line. Not an easy journey. Where I am now. Okay? Big Sills. Right, Sills, when he was talking about Shador, right? He talked about his journey. Shador got unfortunately hurt today. I think he got what did he have? A stomach, pulled a muscle in his stomach. He had an abdomen injury. Those suck. Those could be like, those could keep you out for the entire year. Nick Bosa, when he was at Ohio State, missed the entire senior season because he had an abdomen injury. Those are not something that heal right. I mean, there's nothing to do with it. You go in there, you get it repaired, and then you have to have rest. I mean, there's no way around that. You could actually like lose your season. So, and his chance potentially to make that football team. He was going to start. I think Dylan Gabriel now is going to be the guy that's going to start, right? Dylan Gabriel, I think they're talking about having him start. So, right? Here. And Twiz is ill or has some illness. I'm not sure what it is. He's like let me tell you, there was Bob Hope at one time. Twiz is no hope. How you doing? Twiz is no hope. Cleveland stinks. I don't know, man. I think Cleveland's a good sports team and a good sports city. I like Cleveland. So here's some of the stuff Hurt said. Him and Jahan Dotson. Why would he comment? Why would the reporters ask this question about his rapport with Jahan Dotson when Jahan Dotson had 20 catches last year? And he'll have no more than that this year. What did he have? How many catches did he have? I mean, really? So I have no idea where that was even broached. So, hey, listen, we've had a power pack day here, man. Jim Kelly was on with us earlier. And I want you guys to pray for his grandson. We had Bernie yesterday, Kozar. And we're going to have John Gruden on, I believe, on Friday. So we'll be talking with him and getting those guys' perspective of what they think. It's funny when you talk about Jalen Hurts to certain coaches or you talk about certain media people and how they see him. There's no doubt. And plus, I would make this point to you. Some of the questions that were made in the offseason here about some of the moves that Howie made and some of the moves he didn't make. Now, I'm going to ask Marcus Hayes this question. Before we bring him up here, what did Howie Roseman do? Howard Eskin, a couple minutes ago, wouldn't answer it. I hope he can. What has Howie done externally to replace the loss of talent on the football team? I get Jahad Campbell. I'm in. What else has he done? Okay, let's ask Marcus Hayes from the Philadelphia Inquirer. It's been a bit. One of my favorite golf. I got to say this, one of my favorite people that cover golf because he's played some of the best golf courses on the planet that I want to play. I'm very jealous. Here is Marcus Hayes. He joins us now. Marcus, I am very jealous of you. You know that. I've told you this before. I remain jealous because I want to play some of the courses that you've been on. Your favorite golf course?
Of the like remarkable golf courses that I've played?
Yes.
Honestly, you know, it's funny. My favorite golf, like if I had to play a course over and over again the rest of my life, of the real big golf courses I've played, it'd probably be Chambers Bay in Washington.
Huh.
I think it was 2000. I want to say like 17, maybe. They had a U.S. Open there, and it didn't go well. They had a weather issue that burnt out the greens, and only about 5 of the greens were pure. So, you know, it was tough to putt, but it was a weather anomaly. It's never been like that before and never been like that since. It's on Puget Sound, and it has a marine layer that covers it most days, but they had a huge drought right around the time the U.S. Open was there, which combined with them cutting.
Did they overseed it? Did they overseed it?
Oh, no. It's kind of so. In 15, I want to, or maybe a little bit earlier than that. Earlier than that, 2010, say Jordan Spieth played there in a like USA Amateur or something like that. And these dates aren't solid. It's been around a while since I've thought about this. And they found that the course, which was built by Robert Trent Jones Jr., some of the when they cut the greens down to tournament speed, USGA tournament speed, that they wouldn't hold the ball almost no matter where you landed it, because normally it's so pure they cut the greens and the fairways the same. Which
wow.
So the only way you know you're on the green is by the sprinkler heads around the green. That's how you know you can touch your ball and clean it. But when they have tournaments, their elite tournaments, they cut them shorter. and they found that 5 of those green complexes wouldn't hold the ball to the degree the ball would get there and roll back 100 yards down the fairway. It's built on an old quarry, and so it replicates links golf very, very well. But when the green speeds are like 11.5, 12, 12.5, they don't retain the ball because, as you might imagine, the quarry is steep. So there are a lot of undulations and stuff. It's completely manufactured golf course. It's like Disneyland. That said, so they replaced 5 of the green complexes a few years before they had the U.S. Open there. And it was built to host USGA events. That was Robert Trent Jones was given that charter. And so what happened was the greens that were replaced were almost all still pure bent grass. The greens that weren't replaced, the 13 that weren't replaced, had been polluted by poa annua. Now, poa annua and bent grow at different rates. Poa grows much faster and is much hardier and requires less water. So what happened was when the greens got burnt, the 5 that were brand new or relatively new got burnt evenly, and they were predictable. The 13 that had poa annua on them, the poa grew, but the grass died, the bent died. So those were the ones that were bumpy. So not only were the greens bumpy, they were inconsistent. So it was like a perfect storm, or lack thereof. They didn't have it. They weren't covered the way that they were supposed to be covered by the marine layer, and it just turned into this disaster. But that said, it's probably the most fun, fair, interesting golf course I've ever played, including Augusta National and Marion and Shinnecock and Aronimink around here. Pinehurst number 2, which I played twice. You know, I really enjoyed Chambers Bay. I mean, Augusta National is a different experience, right? It's just something almost magical, but it's kind of tricked up. You know, you really have to have a caddy. Every single shot could be disaster, you know, that sort of thing. It's wonderful to go there. But if I had to play a golf course the rest of my life, it'd be Chambers if they built cart paths, because Chambers is walking only. It's a public golf course. You can carry your bag or get a caddy, but you have to walk. And it's an 8-mile walk up and down hills.
Well, speaking of magical, okay, that was a magical run that the Philadelphia Eagles were on a year ago, and no one will dispute that, leading to a Super Bowl here. How do you look at this offseason here, though? I mean, the amount of losses. Do you really believe in this offseason here with Milton Williams, Josh Sweat? It looks like you now got a 7-man race at corner on seeing who's going to end up being the end guy there with that. Safety position's also a question. Some of your swing guys, the swing corner, the swing safety, maybe the linebacker. Howie, did he sit on his hands, in your opinion, this offseason here by really not retooling, caring more about 26 and 27, which keeps you in the game? But what about 25? Do you think he did enough this offseason?
Well, I think that at the end of last year, they were by far the most talented team in the NFL. And I think going into 25, they are by far the most talented team in the NFL. They might not be as talented as they were last year compared to themselves, but this team would also be the most talented team from 2024. It's a very, very good team. I wrote a column, I think last week or maybe early this week, about how this is kind of the model franchise right now from kind of soup to nuts. So you've got Lurie, who's turned out to be a very, very good owner, 3 Super Bowls in 7 years, 2 wins. You've got his son, you've got the heir apparent, so you don't have to worry about lineage, you don't have to worry about transfer of power. Jeffrey's in his 70s now, so that's a real concern, you know. And you also, you know, ostensibly you've got somebody who will keep him sort of between the guardrails as he ages, which is something that Jerry Jones's sons clearly can't do. So you've got those 2 entities at the top. And we don't know how effective Julian Lurie is going to be, but we do know that he's part of all of this stuff now. So he knows the template. Then you've got Howie. You can argue his merits all day long, but Howie's going to be in the Hall of Fame probably, you know. And then you've got like 8 or 9 foundational players. Like Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell are foundational cornerstone players. Jalen Carter, Jalen Hurts. You maybe Nolan Smith. right? We don't know how good he's going to hold up, at whether he's going to progress.
A lot of
Certainly 4 offensive linemen who are foundational players, Saquon Barkley and 2 wide receivers and Dallas Goedert. So if your question is, did Howie do enough to make them the best team in the NFL again, then yes. Are they as talented as they were at the end of last year? Probably not. But I would contend that, you know, Darius Slay isn't worth the money that it would have cost to bring him back. Neither is Milton Williams.
Josh Sweat, 19 million.
Sweat maybe, but you know, Josh Sweat had a really poor year the year before and didn't have a great year this year. He had a great postseason.
Yep.
You know, and you know, the conversation's very different, I think, Dan. If we're asking the question, do they have enough? If Milton Williams and Josh Sweat didn't combine for like 5 sacks in the Super Bowl, if that doesn't happen, you know, we're probably having a different conversation, you know, and that happened largely because Kansas City's offensive line was decimated. Not to take anything away from those 2 very talented players, especially Milton. I've been a Milton Williams guy since the day Tom Donahoe didn't want to draft him. But yeah, they're really, really good. And the other thing that when you're a general manager, and you know Dave Dombrowski in Philadelphia is getting some heat about this right now with the Phillies. When you're a general manager, more than anything else, your job is to draft guys who will develop and get better until they're the best they can be and then decline. Howie has an embarrassment of riches there. And Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith and Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, who we forget about as an anchor against the run, Devontae Smith, who would be a number 1 almost everywhere else at wide receiver, Dallas Goedert, who's, you know, he's the all-time leading receiver in Philadelphia Eagles playoff history. So there's no reason to think Goddard's going to be worse. There's great reason to think Devontae is going to be even better. There's no contemplation of drop off from AJ Brown. So it's just a really good team with, you know, Jalen Hurts is going to be a better quarterback this year than he was last year. You know, that it's just a really good team. So you could argue, because of the expected development of the young players and the Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson when he's healthy.
So the bar was so high.
Right, but here's the thing. There's no reason to think that those players are going to be appreciably worse. The only person you really have to worry about drop-off with is Lane Johnson. You know, at some point, he's not going to be Superman. He had his second best season last season. And now, you know, this time last year, he was talking about playing out his contract. Now he's talking about playing even longer. So, you know, no, Howie didn't make a bunch of splashy moves. But what he has done and what he did over the last 2 years is he locked up AJ, he locked up Devontae. He this offseason, probably the biggest move they made and maybe the most questionable move was locking up Saquon Barkley. They didn't have to do that. You know, they're going to have to pay Jalen Carter. They might have to pay Jordan Davis down the line if they decide to keep him, and Nolan Smith. And those are going to be big deals, you know. So I think that he's done as good a job as you could expect him to do. But it all sort of hinges on guys not regressing.
Let me ask you this question, because I've been asking everyone it, and I want to hear your take on this. So Kevin Patullo, he spoke today, and I listened to him. By the way, I love his presence. I like the whole deal that he's been around Jalen Hurts. But explain this to me. So in 2023, I think it was, they passed him over for Brian Johnson. Then they turn around and they go out of the building and they go for Kellen Moore and they pass him over again. My question would be, why am I to believe being passed over twice, if that guy's the right guy? Why did they pass him over twice? Once in the building, once out of the building. Why is he ready now when he's never been a play caller to be the offensive coordinator?
Why did they pass him over the first time?
Because Jalen's friend? Okay, well then why did they go out of the building?
Why did they pass him over the second time?
Because Nick's job was on the line because of the meltdown.
Right. So it's not neither of those included the qualification level of Kevin Patullo. I don't know. And
so the circumstances, you're saying the circumstances led to that because Nick was a little bit on the firing line there because after the Tampa game, you're saying they had to do something. They felt more compelled, and Jalen wanted to feel more. They wanted Jalen to feel more comfortable with a guy who he was more comfortable with. And Brian Johnson, is that what you're saying?
And also, they were worried they were going to lose. They'd have lost Brian Johnson. Somebody else would have hired him as offensive coordinator, and at that point, his stock was incredibly high.
It was
incredibly high, right? So after that Super Bowl, his stock was through the roof. Like he was getting head coaching interviews at that point.
Hey, he's kicking ass in Washington right now,
and he was at Florida. He's got the hookup with Howie. He's got background with Jalen, and Jeffrey Lurie found him. He's been Jeffrey Lurie's guy. So there was never a scenario in which Brian Johnson was going to be the offensive coordinator, and nobody had a problem with it, and nobody should have. It didn't work out, but that's the deal. But I think what happened in the next year is that you had Nick and his staff were sort of undressed as not being ready for prime time. And that includes Kevin Patullo. So there was a little bit of shade on Kevin Patullo, because what was the worst part of the attack that year? The passing game. Well, he's the passing game guy. That said, now Nick is never going to have more power than he has now. So Kevin Patullo has always been Nick's guy. Last year, they'd won 3 or 4 in a row, and Kevin and Nick came out of the back. We don't get to see Kevin Patullo very often. Kevin and Nick came out of the back where the coaches exit their offices on game day. And Nick stopped me and introduced me to Kevin Patullo and told me that he was one of the best coaches he's ever been around, and he was going to be going places. Nick has never said that about any other coach that he's had, not even Shane Steichen or Jonathan Gannon.
Frank thinks he's brilliant. Frank thinks he's brilliant. Frank Wright thinks he's brilliant, Kevin Patullo.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've known Frank since he was the backup quarterback in Buffalo. I covered those teams, and Frank knows a lot of football. I mean, if it was me, I would have hired Frank Reich. I would have hired Frank Reich to be my offensive coordinator this year.
Well, here's what the latest on that is. He was on our program. They were carving a position out for him before he took the job, the interim job with Stanford. He said that Nick was carving a job. He didn't want to be the offensive coordinator because he wanted to have Kevin. They wanted the dust to settle. He said it on our program, actually, that they were carving a job description out for him, and that don't be shocked next year if Frank Reich's not added to the coaching staff, because the owner wants Frank Reich back inside the building. And so Frank's going to be a Philadelphia Eagle coach next year. It won't be the coordinator unless something happens. Kevin Patullo wins the Super Bowl and he goes on to get a job too. But Frank said that he'll be back in the building. He said that here with us.
Well, if it were me, I would have made it impossible for Frank Reich to say no. But again, Nick is more powerful now than he ever has been. The last thing he wants is his former boss to be his underling and, an easy replacement. And, but I will tell you this. Jeffrey Lurie has told me, and I think I've written this, he believes that Frank Reich is the best person he's ever been around in the NFL. And this will be where Frank Reich always has a place as long as the Luries own the team.
Jalen Hurts 2025, in your opinion, will be what?
He'll be a winner. That's what he is.
Why? What's the debate with him then? What's the debate?
There
is it just talk?
You're the problem.
Okay.
You're the problem. Who are the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL?
Patrick Mahomes.
It doesn't matter. It's a ridiculous argument. If you look statistically at who the winningest quarterbacks are, especially back when the running game was premier versus the highest rated quarterbacks, it doesn't really correspond. Jalen Hurts is in a place where what he does and what he does well is amplified to help the team win. And Jalen Hurts, after game 4 last year, matured a little bit more to embrace and execute the things that he does well that help this team win. So for my money, the best quarterback in the NFL for this scheme and this personnel is Jalen Hurts. And I think that's kind of been proven. I had a conversation with somebody about Jalen Hurts' leadership or something like that. And it's kind of like we expect quarterbacks and teammates and athletes to all conform to this sort of like, I guess, prescribed mold of how we want them to be. When the reality is you're different from me, who's different from, Xander, who's different from Frank Reich. So if I'm going to be the main person on your show, if I'm going to be the host, you're going to be the co-host, like with Angelo. I was a very different person on Angelo's show than I was when I have my own show. Okay. So my point being, every situation is different. And if it's a quarterback, the quarterback's number one job is what? If you're on your teams, no, to not lose.
Okay.
Right? You play with Bernie.
Yeah.
Bernie lost a lot of games.
Yep.
Yeah. you don't have to win the game. You have to not lose the game. Just like a starting pitcher and a goalie. Do the ABC right, and when D happens, great. If D can happen. I mean, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. I was there. Right? But he won the Super Bowl and deserves to be recognized as a Super Bowl winner because he didn't lose it. So it doesn't matter who the top five, you can argue who the top five passers are. You can argue the top five quarterback minds. But you can't argue who the top five quarterbacks are because you don't know if Joe Burrow comes here, he's not going to be terrible. Or Aaron Rodgers in his prime. Or Russell Wilson. You just don't know.
Yeah, but Marcus, let me ask you.
What happened in Minnesota last year?
I get all that, but Marcus, aren't you looking at it like this though? Also, quarterbacks are they're victims of the environment they're in too. You just can't sit there and go, well, this guy wins so much because he's on a great football team. And by the way, I'm not penalizing Jalen Hurts for being on a great team. But what I am going to say is, if you're in a crappy organization like Cincinnati, who has a zipper on the wallet when it comes to playing players, Joe Burrow's doing the best he can in a crappy environment where they don't want to play. That's not his fault either.
Right, but we're not talking about Joe Burrow.
No, but what I'm talking about, the top guys in the sport versus
again,
the guy who's on a top team.
That's my entire argument. It doesn't matter who the top guys are. It matters who wins. So there's a scenario, there's a reality in which bad quarterbacks or mediocre quarterbacks go to good teams and win. There's also a reality in which really good quarterbacks don't win. We've seen that a lot. So you can be a really talented quarterback and not win because you're not in the right system or you don't comport yourself properly. You're not a good leader. You aren't in shape. We've seen that. Yep. You don't stay healthy. We've seen that. You make mistakes. I would contend that Brett Favre is the biggest disappointment in the history of the NFL because he lost games that were won. Brett Favre was unbelievably talented, incredibly talented, and incredibly dumb and incredibly arrogant.
Hey, the all-time leading passing here in touchdowns and the all-time interception guy, I think that proves your point.
Imagine if he played in a place where football is worshipped and so are the players. Right. If he had done that stuff in, I don't know, DC, okay, or Philly, one Super Bowl, but all these losses, how much better could he have been? We talk about guys like that all the time. So my point is, you can be a spectacular. At no point in his prime was Brett Favre not a top 5 quarterback, but he wasn't a top 5 winner.
Absolutely. Here, last question for you here. Do you believe Vic's going to do it again? Working that magic and taking up the sauce. Wait a minute. Finding Zach Bond, getting everyone to play like at a level where everybody got paid and pay raises, everybody across the board, whether it was here or somewhere else. I mean, it was an amazing thing he did. I still shake my head and can't believe what that guy did with guys who I thought was the worst linebacking core in pro football a year ago going into the season. Turned out to be the best. I can't believe it. Do you really believe he's going to shake the sauce again, get that sprinkle dust out, throw it out there, and they're going to be in the top 5 again defensively?
Vic Fangio's magic, his brilliance, is the same as Bill Walsh and the same as Larry Brown, the basketball coach. You know, the people I've been around that are really, really excellent coaches. So let me ask you this. As a guy who's been around sports all your life and played at the highest level of football, what's the most important job of every coach?
Develop.
I would contend that it is to ask your players to do what they can do and don't ask them to do what they cannot. Figure out what they can do, put them in the position to do that, and ask them to continually do it. That's why Bill Belichick is the greatest football coach in history. Look at his talent level, especially on the defensive side of the ball. I would contend that Richard Seymour might be the best defensive player he ever had. Nobody knows who Richard Seymour is.
That's right.
Right? So he's a Hall of Fame player in my book. But he understood that, you know, do your job, right? And do it without question and do it without thinking, because I told you to do it. That only works if the job is doable by the person being asked to do it. The brilliance of his coaching is he only asked guys to do what they could do, you know, and that's what Vic does. Who's the defensive end that was a bust here as a free agent?
The kid from Washington?
No, the kid from the Jets. They essentially traded
Momola?
Huh?
Bryce Huff.
Bryce Huff, right? I always want to call him Bryce Pop for some reason.
Bryce Puff and stuff. Okay, I got it.
My synapses aren't firing correctly. So when Bryce Huff exhibited the inability to do the things that Vic asked him to do, he stopped asking him to do it. Yeah. And he gave somebody else a chance. The way that Vic managed Bryce Huff last year is probably the best example, the best evidence that he's a great coach. Because most coaches would have been worried about their job. We spent all this money on this guy. We let Hassan Reddick go. This guy has to produce or it's my butt. Vic said, no, my job is not to get Bryce Huff to do something that he can't do. And if the owner wants to blame me for that, he can fire me. My job is next week, have somebody in his position to do the job that needs to be done. Now, you can talk all you want about Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean and, you know, Reed Blankenship and, you know, getting the most out of, Nolan Smith and Jalix Hunt's development or whatever. You know, the best thing he did was take Bryce Huff off the field and put somebody there who could produce. It turned out to be a combination of guys, especially, you know, and the other thing about it was he had all those young guys ready to play and he had Milton Williams ready to move around when Brandon Graham got hurt. Brandon Graham was their best defensive end when he got hurt by a long time. He was like a Pro Bowl,
he was killing it in that Rams
He was like a Pro Bowl level defensive end. He was a really, really good defensive end when he got hurt. He was probably his third best season.
Yeah.
His last season was probably his third best season.
Yeah.
And when he got hurt, Vic had guys ready to take his place because he is insistent that you do things well. And until you do the last thing well, you don't get to try the next thing. So you ask, can he recreate that magic? Depends on the players. Depends on how they want to be coached. You know, people talk about him failing in Miami. He didn't fail in Miami. What happened in Miami is the guys didn't want to be coached. These guys wanted to be coached. And you know who I give the most credit to that for that too?
Oh,
Darius Slay.
Huh.
Darius Slay was because Brandon Graham is a wonderful player and a big presence. But Darius Slay is a leader. And I didn't expect to be saying that when he got here from Detroit, but he was a leader. I think he grew into it. But how he would accept or not accept Vic really resonated with the rest of the team because he's the guy who's going to speak out if there's something wrong. He's the guy who can be disruptive, but he wasn't. He was professional. He helped the young corners, knowing that they were going to take his place. He helped Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, CJ Gardner-Johnson, come back and be productive again. And you know how disruptive he is. So Darius Slay aligning with Vic Fangio last year was huge. And Vic Fangio understanding what Bryce Huff couldn't do was huge. So, yeah, I mean, he will succeed whenever you give him talent that's coachable. And they have plenty of coachable talent. They should be very, very good again this year.
Marcus, it is great catching up with you again. I so love it. Hopefully we can do it again sooner. You are such a great friend of ours, and thank you so much, man. Anytime you need us, you just let us know. Thank you again, my friend.
All right, thanks. Talk to you later, Dan.
You got it. The great Marcus Hayes from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Make sure you check his workout, man. We really love him. Hey, make sure you check out Birds 365 because that's coming up right now. We are in the midst of getting John Gruden on Friday. So exhibition football coming up. John's going to give you the latest on what went on with the joint practice with the Browns today. Stay tuned for Birds 365. Joe, Xander, thank you. 2 to 6 tomorrow. We'll see you on the flip side.